Chapter 42-27. This time, there's a reckless guy who dares to provoke us. He has already killed many saint sovereigns and has set his eyes on us. He has disgraced our sacred city. Go down and kill him. Hearing this, Sikonglai was stunned. There's such a guy? Who is it? Fu Hongye, Huang Shisan? He frowned slightly. In his opinion, only such a person could give the sacred city such a headache. However, the elders shook their heads slightly. No, it's not him. That guy. He pointed at a figure in the distance. So young? Sikonglai frowned slightly. The next moment, he was even more stunned. Old man, are you sure? This guy isn't even a saint sovereign. Indeed, he isn't. However, he has already killed 4 of our saint sovereigns and 10 peak minor saints. All of them died in his hands. Do you think he's weak? Sikonglai took a deep breath. He's so powerful. I finally know why I summoned him. I know. Leave it to me. Sikonglai nodded. The next moment, he floated forward. Look, someone from the demon city has come out again. It seems like they're not going to tolerate it anymore. Countless people exclaimed. Everyone's gazes shifted over. Lin Xian also flew up. Again? Is he courting death? He landed on the arena, looked at the figure in front of him, and shook his head. Get lost. You're too young. You're no match for me. Kid, you're very arrogant. No one has ever dared to talk to me like that. However, you're too reckless. You'll die if I attack you. Then, he rushed forward. Lin Xian snorted coldly as he threw out a punch that enveloped Sikonglai. The next moment, Sikonglai's body was blasted away with a thunderous sound. It can't be. He's killed in one move. The surrounding people were stunned. What's the demon city doing? Why did they send such a weak person? Could it be that they were planning to tire him out and exhaust his strength? The surrounding people were also discussing. Lin Xian was also stunned. It shouldn't be. What the hell is the demon city doing? The next moment, he was stunned. The others exclaimed. Look, what's that? They saw that the body that had been split into 4 pieces did not die. Instead, it quickly reassembled, and then 4 figures stood up. Every one of them looked like Space-Time Hunter, and the other party had actually split into 4. Was it a doppelganger? Many people cried out in alarm. This wouldn't do either. This type of doppelganger couldn't resist at all. After the 4 of them came out in an instant, they charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian coldly snorted and threw out another punch. However, in the next moment, he was surprised to find that the strength of these 4 people was actually the same, blocking his attack. However, his power erupted and blasted the 4 of them away once again. This time, even more figures stood out. 4 of them were split in half. In other words, all 8 of them stood up. What was going on? A few holy city elders cried out in alarm. This wasn't a clone, but rather a split. Every time his body was destroyed, he would be able to form a completely new body. Could it be that he was the Spacebreaker beast? When these words were spoken, the other elders were also shocked. They had long heard that there were thousands of demons in the 1,000-demon city, and it was incomparably strange. Among them, there was a type of demon beast that had this kind of splitting ability, called the Spacebreaker beast. Now, it seemed that it was this person. The Spacebreaker beast could form a new body when its body was injured. It was simply immortal and indestructible. Indeed, it was basically impossible to kill it. As long as a bit of its flesh and blood left, it could completely grow and recover in an instant. Unless one's strength surpassed everything and could destroy the Spacebreaker beast completely, not leaving a single drop of blood. However, in order to do this, one had to be an extremely terrifying existence. At least a peak Saint Venerable or a Saint King. It was impossible for such a person to appear on this battlefield. For a moment, everyone cried out in alarm, not knowing how Lin Xian was going to block it. Lin Xian also frowned. A Spacebreaker beast? Huh? The other party's bloodline was really strange. Sikonglai revealed a smile and said, Useless brat, this will only increase my strength. Is that so? Of the 8 of you, one must be the main body. If I kill your main body, won't you die without a doubt? Lin Xian's eyes released a trace of shocking light. In the next moment, his gaze became very dim. However, he soon discovered that the 8 of them did not have a main body at all. Their main bodies and clones were all the same. This made him frown. They were exactly the same? Were there really no clones? Sikong Lai, who was opposite him, laughed loudly. How could this brat have already found out? Indeed, any one of me can be the main body. What can you use to kill me? Everyone was stunned when they heard this. He was too strong. He was really immortal and indestructible. How could there be such an existence? Unless there was a heaven-defying difference in cultivation. However, Space-Time Lai was a saint venerable, and Lin Xian was only a small saint. The difference between the two could not be made up. Now that he had such a bloodline, it was impossible to defeat him. It seemed that the sword maniac had really lost this time. However, with the sword maniac's strength, it was still possible for him to escape now. However, failure was inevitable. With this failure, the sword maniac would have the Spacebreaker beast to hunt him down in the future. He would be eliminated soon. Discussions sounded one after another. They did not expect the tables to turn. The sword maniac fell into a predicament so quickly. However, they still underestimated the determination of the Demon City. Not only did they want to defeat Lin Xian, but they also wanted to kill Lin Xian completely. In the arena, 8 space-time hunters moved, attacking Lin Xian from 8 directions. Lin Xian quickly dodged. However, 8 against 1, he could not dodge in the end. He could not easily use the void escape. Therefore, he had no choice but to slap out with his palm. The Azure Dragon Seal instantly sent a few of them flying, and new people appeared from the broken bodies. In the end, there were already hundreds of figures standing in the arena. Each of their auras was incomparably strong. It made people's scalps tingle. The more they fought, the stronger they became. How could they fight? Boy, tremble and despair. This is the result of daring to go against the Demon City. The space-time hunters walked over with a sinister smile. More than 100 figures covered the sky and earth. Lin Xian's expression was cold. Kill. With a roar, he formed a seal with his palms. Between heaven and earth, lightning filled the air, completely enveloping the entire space. He did not believe that he could not kill his opponent this time. Those people who were pierced by the lightning quickly changed, and in the end, there were more than 10 million of them. Damn it, even the lightning could not kill them. Lin Xian's face was completely gloomy. Now, it seemed that only the power of the great dragon sword soul was left. However, if he could not hit him in one strike, it would be useless. After all, any body could continue to split, which meant that he had to think of a way. He had to kill them all in one fell swoop. Otherwise, he would be in danger. Chapter 42-28. In everyone's opinion, Lin Xian was doomed. In fact, Lin Xian had indeed fallen into an extremely dangerous situation. However, he did not panic. At this moment, he was accumulating power. He wanted to kill all of his opponents in one fell swoop. Facing thousands of figures, he fought while retreating. It seemed that he could not hold on any longer. However, a golden light flickered in his eyes. He was using his eye technique, but he was secretly using it. Moreover, it was not very powerful. He wanted to subtly influence his opponent's soul and not let his opponent discover it. Now that his opponent had the upper hand, he must be very arrogant. He wanted to make use of this point to make the other party extremely arrogant. He wanted to make his opponent completely crazy. As expected, seeing Lin Xian retreating, the corners of Sikong Lai's mouth curled up into a sinister smile. Kid, go to hell. Thousands of figures all rushed over, directly enveloping Lin Xian. The entire arena was also completely covered. These figures seemed to have turned into locusts, lying on Lin Xian's body, and began to madly absorb Lin Xian's power to strengthen these figures. Lin Xian could not move. He felt his power being drained, but he smiled. Great, it's finally working. These people all rushed over without a care for anything else. In the next moment, the light flickered. The great dragon sword soul roared and countless sword chi formed a sword Dao world. It directly enveloped these people completely. Pft, pft, pft. In an instant, those figures were attacked and their bodies cracked. However, the sinister voice said, "It's useless. You can't kill me. You'll only make me more and more." Lin Xian did not say anything. He activated the Great Attack Sword Soul with all his strength and slashed wildly. Gradually, Space-Time Hunter's expression changed. Damn it, what's going on? He found that his figure had fallen into a pool of blood. Before he could reform a new body, he was killed again. Moreover, these sword chi carried a biting cold aura, which prevented those wounds from healing. He found that his figure was gradually decreasing. Damn it, his opponent still had such a biting cold sword chi. He wanted to retreat. However, he found that the entire Sword Dao world had already enveloped everything. He had no way out. What shocked him even more was that his entire body had entered the sword to the world. Not a single part of him was left behind. How could this be? He couldn't believe it. No matter how arrogant he was, he would still be careful and leave one of them outside just in case. But now, he didn't stay. This was too surprising. Damn it, what's going on? When he saw the strange light in Lin Xian's eyes, he knew he was in trouble. You used an eye technique on me. That's right. Looks like you're not that stupid. I did use an eye technique on you. Therefore, you won't be able to escape. Damn it, I'll fight you to the death. Space-Time Hunter roared. Since he had no way out, he could only fight with his back against the wall. Countless terrifying laws appeared on his body, and the remaining figures charged over together. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Everything was over. Endless sword chi exploded, and everything ended very quickly. Everyone was wiped out, and their blood was wiped out by him. Not a single drop of blood flowed out. At this moment, the terrifying spacebreaker beast was completely slain by him. The spectators outside were also stunned when they saw this scene. They only saw countless figures pouncing toward Lin Xian. Then, sword chi surged out of Lin Xian's body, completely enveloping the entire arena. After that, they couldn't see anything. What battle had happened? How was it? The people from the Demon City sneered. How dare you question the strength of the lashing spacebreaker beast? You really don't know what's good for you. Indeed, they weren't worried at all. Only those old monsters could kill the lashing spacebreaker beast. No one in the younger generation could do it. But when the sword chi that filled the sky disappeared, the surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? They found that there was only one person in the arena, and that was Lin Xian. Space-time rift? Then where did he go? No way. Did he hide? Exclamations rang out. The people from the Demon City were also shocked and doubtful. They roared, "Kid, where did you take Sikong Lai?" Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled. He had already been sent to hell. What? That was impossible. Everyone was stunned. The people from the Demon City were even more shocked. Soaring Sky Saint King also opened his eyes. His gaze was rarely seen in all directions as a huge soul pressure pressed down on them. It seemed that he was searching, but not long after, his expression became incomparably ugly. What was going on? He really couldn't sense Space-Time Lai's aura. Could it be that he was really killed by him? The three referee elders also descended from the sky and began to search the surroundings. Then, they said that Space-Time Lai's life was unknown. This battle was won by the sword maniac. His life was unknown. Everyone gasped. That was a spacebreaker beast. It could split into countless bodies. How could he disappear? Now that he wasn't here, there was only one possibility, and that was that he had been killed. Not even a drop of blood was left. Thinking of this possibility, everyone's scalps went numb. What method did this sword maniac use to be so powerful? Great. Murong Qingqing, Shun Jingxiu, and the others all heaved a sigh of relief. Wan Jianyi also frowned. The other party's sword chi was so strange. As an expert of the sword Dao, he felt threatened. The people from the Demon City were completely dumbfounded. I'll fight it out with you. Many people rushed out. Lin Xian sneered. Fine, I'll send you to hell together. These people stopped in midair. They didn't dare to fight with the other party at all. For a moment, they couldn't advance or retreat. They were in an abnormally sorry state. A bunch of trash. You don't even have the courage to fight with me. Get lost. Lin Xian roared, looking disdainfully at the surroundings. Everyone came back. Soaring Sky Sage King shouted coldly. Everyone from the Demon City came back. After that, they didn't make another move because this time, they were truly frightened. Originally, Even soaring Sky Sage King thought that the Spacebreaker Beast attack was absolutely foolproof. But now, the Spacebreaker Beast was actually killed. Were they going to use a stronger trump card? They weren't confident. So for a period of time, the Demon City seemed to be asleep. No one spoke, and no one came out to fight. A man and a sword suppressed Shan Cheng's head. This was probably the first time in history. The surrounding demon cities people also had a solemn expression. Until now, they still didn't know which force this person was from. However, the other party's methods were too terrifying. The demon city was actually scared. As for the other demon city, many people also died in the hands of the other party. However, everyone realized that the other party didn't attack all the demon city. Instead, he attacked a few specific demon city. Could it be that this person had a grudge with those demon city? In an instant, they thought of a possibility. That was that Peerless City had a grudge with those demon city. Only Peerless City, right? Chapter 42-29. Could it be that this matter was really related to Peerless City? Everyone started guessing. Wushuang City dares to go against us? The Acheron Hall's Silver Corpse Sage King received the news and his eyes flashed coldly. Looks like it's time for us to send our hunters to teach Wushuang City a lesson. They sent out their own hunters. Even the Great Desolation Mansion sent out their hunters. In an instant, these hunters moved in the dark, keeping an eye on Wushuang City. Soon, someone exclaimed. Wushuang City also felt the pressure. People like Shi Bufan and Wang Xiaofeng from Stillwater Sky City were being hunted. Retreat quickly. Fu Hongye shouted coldly, telling them not to fight back. These people had no choice but to retreat. Even Ghostly was severely injured. In an instant, countless people were in an uproar. They could see that someone was targeting Wushuang City. Lin Xian saw it too. A cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. These people were so reckless. It seemed like he had to continue. But before that, he had to do something. He had killed many people in a row. Therefore, at this moment, he had a lot of winning streaks. He had won 50 matches in a row. This was an equally dazzling record. So once he appeared, he would be targeted by countless people. Although he was confident in himself, this was a Dao debate after all. Maybe there would be a terrifying expert. So Lin Xian decided to give away his winning streak first. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, waiting for an opportunity. Soon, he sent a message to Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing smiled and walked down, while Lin Xian went up. In the surroundings, those people were all stupefied when they saw this. It couldn't be, right? This guy was actually going to make a move against the favored daughter of heaven? Even the people from Demon City were stunned. This guy is going to attack Kunlun Pavilion? It shouldn't be. Isn't he from Wushuang City? Could it be that their judgment was wrong? The people from Kunlun Pavilion were also stunned. But soon, they widened their eyes in disbelief. After Lin Xian went up, he said calmly, "So it's Fairy Murong. I've heard of your name. Now that I've met you, I'm shocked. I hope that Fairy will show mercy." Murong Qingqing threw out a palm strike. Lin Xian didn't resist and immediately retreated. Fairy's palm strength is so good that I am ashamed of my inferiority. Then, he turned around and walked down the arena. Everyone was dumbfounded, and I cursed the heavens. What was the meaning of this? Was he admitting defeat just like that? Damn it, he was giving away his winning streak. Some of the sacred cities instantly understood what was going on, and they gnashed their teeth in anger. They couldn't say anything. They were willing to do this kind of thing. Moreover, Lin Xian made them vomit blood. Lin Xian said, "I learned it from Wan Yaocheng." The people from the Demon City were about to go mad with anger. Just like that, Murong Qingqing obtained Lin Xian's 50-match winning streak and instantly entered the 100-match winning streak. This was a very difficult task. After all, everyone here was an expert and a genius. A 50-match winning streak was already very heaven-defying. A 200-match winning streak could be said to be a legend. At this moment, Murong Qingqing completed a 100-match winning streak. He was actually the first to do so. In an instant, countless people looked up to him. Damn it, we have to speed up. Wan Jinni also had to hurry up and get the hunters to come back and give him his winning streak. He also wanted to achieve a 100-match winning streak. It was the same for the Great Desolate Mansion, Lei Shunqing, and Acheron Hall. The battles became even more intense. Lin Xian didn't have any more winning streaks. His eyes shone with a piercing cold light. Very good. It was time to start hunting again. This time, his target was Acheron Hall. This time, he was going to beat Acheron Hall into submission. Murong Qingsheng returned to the place where the Kunlun Pavilion was located with 100 consecutive victories. The elders of Kunlun Pavilion were also confused. Qingqing, do you know that person? To be honest, they naturally knew that they were giving away their winning streaks. Murong Qingqing smiled and said, maybe I know him. The elders of Kunlun Pavilion didn't ask further. After all, it was a good thing for them. On the other side, the people of Wushuang City were also surprised. Who exactly is this person? Why do I feel that he is on our side? Wushuang Sage also smiled mysteriously. He didn't say anything because he felt that it wasn't time yet. However, when he looked down, he frowned. He said, you guys should pay attention next. The hunters from Sacred City have already made their move. If you encounter an extremely strong enemy, you must protect yourself. Losing 1 or 2 matches is nothing to be afraid of. The people of Wushuang City also looked solemn. Indeed, they had suffered a fierce attack previously. Some of the genius disciples of the 3rd generation had also lost. Even some of the disciples of the 2nd generation had been affected. At this moment, an earth-shattering sound suddenly erupted from the distant battlefield. A terrifying energy swept out in all directions. It attracted everyone's attention. When the people of Wushuang City saw this scene, their faces instantly changed. Not good, it's junior sister Shun. Damn it, are these people attacking again? They realized that an extremely cold aura had suddenly erupted from the battlefield where Shan Jingqiu was. 2 white bone claws covered the sky and covered the earth. They could tear everything apart as they suppressed Shan Jingqiu. Junior sister Shun was in danger. Fu Hongya and the others' eyes instantly turned red. They had already lost Lin Xian. They couldn't let Shan Jingqiu be in danger. In an instant, they rushed to the side, but they couldn't enter the arena. After all, there were rules in the competition. Lin Xian naturally noticed this scene. He was still thinking about who to attack, but now he saw someone attacking Shan Jingqiu. A cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes as he walked closer. The person attacking Shan Jingqiu was extremely skinny. He looked like a skeleton. At this moment, he had transformed into 2 white bone claws. With a cold aura, he drowned out everything. This person's strength was so strong that countless people were shocked. They didn't expect such a terrifying expert to be hidden in this battlefield. Lin Xian also frowned. Indeed, this person was much stronger than the average sacred artifact. Moreover, he had used a secret technique. He could feel that this person didn't hesitate to destroy his own foundation to attack. This was simply crazy. In the sky, 4 white bone claws appeared at the same time and forced Shan Jingqiu to retreat. The terrifying power made people's hearts palpitate. Shan Jingqiu stabilized herself. There was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth, but a Dharma idol appeared behind her. It was surrounded by chains of the great Tao. It was as if an ancient god had been resurrected. This battle had attracted the attention of countless elders in the holy city. Even the saint rulers had opened their eyes. They stared at the Dharma idol. Many of them had a puzzled look. On the Acheron Hall side, the Silver Corpse Sage King's eyes lit up. She was indeed mysterious to be able to summon such a phenomenon. From the looks of it, her fortuitous encounter was not small. Unfortunately, she would definitely lose this time. Lin Wudi was already dead. There was no need for anyone related to Lin Wudi to live in this world. Everyone could go to hell. In the arena, the white bone claws shone again. Blood dripped from the corner of the skinny man's mouth. His body swayed. It was obvious that he couldn't take it anymore. However, this attack was even more terrifying. Chapter 42:30. Not good. Shan Jingqiu is in danger. Everyone exclaimed. Lin Xian said telepathically, Qiu, retreat quickly. Shan Jingqiu wanted to attack and defend, but when she heard Lin Xian's words, she retreated without hesitation. The heaven and earth Dharma form behind her stretched out 2 palms in front of her. Like 2 mountains, it blocked all the attacks. Jingqiu was pushed back and spat out another mouthful of blood. However, she had already left the battle area. She actually left? Many people were shocked. Even the people from Wushuang City were discussing. They were worried just now, but they did not expect Jingqiu to retreat. She was so decisive. The people from Acheron Hall were left with a grim expression. Damn it, they did not manage to keep her here. It was a pity, but her cosmic form was indeed out of their expectations. There was no hurry. There were plenty of chances. They had already figured out her strength this time. They would not let her escape next time. The Silver Corpse Sage King said coldly. On the other side, the 4 skeletal hands returned to the man's body. The man's face was pale. He stared at Jingqiu and revealed a cold smile. I actually let you escape this time. The next time I meet you, I will kill you. Hearing this, the people from Wushuang City turned pale. Lin Xian snorted coldly. There is still a next time? Do you think you can live until the next time? A terrifying sword and tint was released from his body, causing everyone to be frightened. The skinny man was stunned, but then he laughed. Don't you know the rules here? You can't fight outside the arena. Try attacking me. I can guarantee that you will die miserably. He walked down the arena. He came to Lin Xian's side with a hint of provocation. Kid, I will not give you the chance to attack. Is that so? Lin Xian laughed. Do you really think that I am willing to attack you? When you attacked previously, you exploded with power that surpassed everything. It has already burned your foundation. You are self-destructing. Trash like you is not worthy of my attack. However, I have already guessed your background. If I let you witness the fall of your Acheron Hall's peerless genius with your own eyes, I wonder how you will feel. At this point, Lin Xian turned and walked away. People of Acheron Hall, you're dead meat. Do you want to die? An extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from the skinny figure's eyes, but he was unable to make a move. Lin Xian smiled. Looks like you know the rules very well. You won't be able to stop me outside the arena. Damn it. He had said those words to prevent the other party from attacking him. Who would have thought that he would end up slapping his own face? The skinny man was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. The people around him were really surprised. Heavens, looks like this sword maniac is going to attack the Acheron Palace. Does he think that our Yellow Springs Hall is a pushover? When the people of Acheron Hall heard this, they snorted coldly as well. Since the other party dared to come, they had ways to get rid of him completely. Lin Xian arrived near the Yellow Springs shop and said coldly, Come on, you bunch of despicable and shameless people. Is there anyone who dares to come out and stand with yours truly? I heard that your Yellow Springs shop has someone called Nine Nether. Come out. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was dumbfounded. Was this a challenge? He wondered if the Acheron Hall would respond. Who was Nine Nether? He was really unfamiliar. Some of the people were surprised. However, some of the top experts narrowed their eyes. They knew this person. His strength was unparalleled and extremely terrifying. He had even participated in the test of the paradise and succeeded. He had even broken through to the Saint Realm. A person like this was far from those Saint Realm saints from before. The sword maniac was challenging someone like this right from the start? When the elders of the Acheron Hall heard this, they were enraged. Nine Nether stood out. You don't know what's good for you. Challenging me? That's good. It's time for me to show off my strength. After saying that, he flew forward. The Silver Corpse Saint King did not stop him. He felt that Nine Nether would not be defeated. He knew Nine Nether's strength very well. Nine Nether's true form was an earth dragon. He had entered a few ancient ruins and obtained many powerful trump cards. There were not many people who could defeat Nine Nether. Since you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. A cold laugh rang out. Then, a figure landed on the arena like a comet. He waved his hand. Come up and accept your death. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You actually dare to come out. This is really out of my expectations. Looking at your identity and strength, you should be the top genius of the Acheron Hall. If you die, I wonder what the Acheron Hall's reaction will be. I'm looking forward to it. The two of them faced each other. Their auras were extremely terrifying. The moment they appeared, the laws on their bodies tore the 9 heavens apart. Countless cracks appeared. Sword Maniac, You're very strong because you've also participated in the test of the paradise. Unfortunately, your strength and talent are nothing in front of me. I've successfully broken through to the saint realm, but you haven't. This is the difference between us. Is that so? I didn't break through to the saint realm because I don't need the cultivation of a saint realm to kill you. I can also kill you as a small saint. Lin Xin's body emitted an extremely terrifying aura. Countless sword chi revolved around the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It was an extremely spectacular scene. On the other side, 9 nether also made his move. Endless cold aura appeared behind him. It was as if he had rushed out from hell. He turned into 5 shadows, flickering in the sky. These 5 shadows were extremely terrifying. They were like dark clouds that covered the 9 heavens. The 5 shadows let out a roar that shook the heavens and earth. Then, they quickly charged over. How terrifying. Why do I feel that he can kill a Saint Realm expert with just a casual attack? Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Scram. With a roar, lightning surged on his body. Accompanying it was the sound of a dragon. It was as if a sea dragon had been resurrected. At this moment, the surrounding people's bodies trembled. Their blood and chi froze. The 3 great dragon clans in the distance also sucked in a breath of cold air. The other party's dragon roar shocked them. At the same time, the 5 shadows in the sky split apart one after another, turning into dark clouds that rolled up. A single roar was enough to destroy an ultimate technique. It was really unbelievable. Lin Xian took a step forward and sneered. Don't embarrass yourself with this little trick. Show me your true strength. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death. Why is this kid so strange? That's the Acheron Hall. Some of the elders frowned. These 5 shadows were extremely terrifying. Even the elders had to be careful when facing them. However, they were shattered by the other party's roar. Just how strong has he become? 9 Nether's face sank as well. Dark flames bloomed in his eyes. Interesting. Your strength is beyond my imagination. It seems that I have to take you seriously. Yi Shiwen thought. I hope you won't disappoint me. 9 Nether sneered. A terrifying aura surged out from his body. Chapter 42:31. Endless demonic runes surged out of his body. 9 Gloom roared as if he was wearing an ancient armor. A terrifying aura spread out in all directions. In the next moment, he seemed to have turned into the god of war. What kind of armor is that? But it doesn't look like it. Why does it feel like a super strong physique? What is Netherworld's original form? Isn't he an earth dragon? Why does he have such a physique? Sounds of discussion rang out. They all felt that this physique was very strange. This doesn't seem to be a cultivation technique of the Acheron Hall. Some people were surprised. In the legends, earth dragons could travel through the ground and had been to many ancient ruins. He had many trump cards in his hands, so this might be a supreme superpower that he obtained from an ancient ruin. Kid, do you think you can win against me with that little strength of yours? What a joke. I'll let you know how powerful I am. 9 Gloom's aura surged like the sea. Then, he stretched out his palm and slapped forward. Boundless black flames danced, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It was like the palm of the king of hell, covering the sky and covering the earth. 9 Gloom flames. How terrifying. Many people trembled when they felt the cold flames. Flames usually had a violent and scorching aura, but the 9 Gloom flames were cold. Wherever it passed, it would freeze everything. Lin Xian was tense. He knew that the other party was an expert, so he didn't let his guard down. A pair of dark golden wings appeared on his back, surrounded by a terrifying storm. At the same time, there was a terrifying sword chi that pierced through the sky. Every sword chi was like a divine sword. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment, he had turned into a sword god. Kill. He faced the attack and turned into a wind shadow, disappearing instantly. When he reappeared, a sword chi flashed between heaven and earth and slashed directly at the black palm. Buzz. Sword-wielding technique. The sword chi swept out in all directions. The black flaming palm stopped abruptly and enveloped the sword light in the sky. In the next moment, a sonorous sound rang out. The 2 types of laws and superpowers clashed continuously. The wind and clouds changed. Poof, poof. The black palm covered everything and swallowed all the sword chi. However, not long after, it kept shaking and cracks appeared on it. A stream of sword chi pierced out, riddling the palm with thousands of holes before shattering it. How could this be? Nine Nether's pupils shrank. Even after he used the nether body, he still couldn't resist his opponent's divine ability. What kind of sword chi was this? His face was incomparably cold. At this moment, the golden wings on Lin Xian's back flapped once more, and he turned into a bolt of lightning that shot over. At the same time, he slowly formed a seal with his palm. Azure Dragon Seal. The phantom of an azure dragon emerged from his palm and roared between heaven and earth. As he breathed in and out, it was as if he had been resurrected. Dang Nine Nether did the same. Once again, he waved his Nine Nether palm. It collided with the dragon's shadow, and a rumbling sound rang out. After a violent collision, Nine Nether was forced back. Blood trickled down from the corner of his mouth. His body also landed heavily on the ancient arena, causing it to shake non-stop. You dare to hurt me? You're courting death. Nine Nether was thoroughly enraged. Previously, he was so insufferably high and mighty. In his opinion, he had successfully broken through to the Saint's sovereign realm. How could a mere minor saint be a match for him? Therefore, he was disdainful. However, he was at a disadvantage in both exchanges. Even now, he was injured by his opponent. He couldn't bear it. The surrounding people were all stunned. How could this be? Was his opponent so strong? The people of Yellow Spring Palace shook their heads frantically. Impossible. It must be Nine Nether's carelessness. Just wait and see. That brat will definitely be torn into pieces. Nether Spear. The boundless Nine Nether flame flickered and turned into a long spear that Nine Nether held in his hand. Wherever the spear passed, the space would constantly crack, as if it had turned into the abyss of hell. The long spear kept striking out, turning into a bottomless abyss that charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian brandished the Azure Dragon Nine Palms. The terrifying phantom contended with it, and the battle between the two was earth-shattering. However, at this moment, on the other side of the arena, which was behind Lin Xian, the void suddenly split open, and a white bone claw suddenly fell. That white bone claw turned into a heavenly blade and slashed towards Lin Xian. The dark golden phantom wings on Lin Xian's back were cut off. This attack landed on his body and sent him flying, injuring him and causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. He felt a burning sensation on his back, as if half of it was about to split open. Fortunately, he had a divine body, so he was able to block this attack. Otherwise, if it were any other sacred venerables, they would probably be split in half instantly. He was actually able to block it. Nine Nether's face darkened when he saw this scene. The other people exclaimed. They were too strong. They couldn't resist the means of these two people at all. Just looking at it made their scalps tingle. The people of Yellow Spring Palace sneered. Just wait and see. Nine Nether would soon use all kinds of divine skills. This brat couldn't resist at all. This was just the beginning. Lin Xian was also enraged. He stepped on lightning and transformed into a beam of sword light, charging over as well. It was the Azure Dragon Seal again, and it carried the power of lightning. It charged towards the other party with a violent aura. The two of them fought at lightning speed. It was impossible to see clearly. One could only see that the sky was filled with laws and large spatial cracks. At this moment, the void behind Nine Nether suddenly split open. A sword shadow flew over and slashed Nine Nether's body. Nine Nether was sent flying. The armor on his body was split open, and no blood flowed out. Damn it! Nine Nether roared. His eyes were red. Lin Xian sneered. How does it feel to be attacked from behind? I learned it from you. He knew the sword controlling technique. Sword chi appeared and disappeared unpredictably. This was to teach the other party a lesson. Damn it! The wrath of the heavens. Nine Nether roared and waved his spear. Endless black flames burned on it, and it was incomparably cold. Thousands of spear lights swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't take it head-on again. Instead, he used the wind shaking the nine heavens again. He appeared and disappeared unpredictably, and his speed was extremely fast. Brat, what's the point of just dodging? If you have the ability, fight me head-on. Seeing that the other party's speed was very strange, Nine Nether roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I'm dodging? Why don't you say that you can't keep up with my speed? As soon as he said that, more than a dozen sword lights slashed over from all directions and draped over the other party's body. Fortunately, Nine Nether had some defense and used the armor on his body to the extreme. However, he still retreated continuously, his blood and chi churning. Damn it, Yellow Spring. Nine Nether roared and shot out a yellow spring diagram that covered the nine heavens. At this moment, he was going to use the Holy City's ultimate technique to kill the other party. The yellow spring gushed out with an incomparably cold aura. It spread in all directions. The expressions of the surrounding people changed. Chapter 42-32. The map of Acheron hung down, and the endless Acheron water filled the sky. Everywhere it passed, the void cracked. Nothing could withstand it. The Acheron water rushed towards Lin Xian at an extremely fast speed. Some of the water was extremely corrosive. No matter how strong one's physique was, even if one had armor to defend against it, the space where the arena was completely covered. In the end, there was nowhere to hide. There was Acheron water in all directions. He was completely surrounded. Even the arena in the valley was corroded. Everyone was shocked. The Acheron water was too terrifying. As expected of Nine Nether, even if one had a sacred weapon, they might not be able to withstand it. When Lin Xian saw this, a cold glint flashed across his eyes. He said coldly, "Do you think you can trap me like this? Next, I'll let you see my secret skill." In the palm of his right hand, there were endless black runes that wrapped around his fist. In the next moment, his entire fist turned black. Tiger Demon Fist. A low voice was heard. The fist was swung as if a demonic tiger had been resurrected. It tore the void apart, and the mineral water was instantly torn apart. Useless kid. No matter how strong your physique is, you won't be able to withstand it. Nine Nether laughed. But soon, his pupils shrank. How could this be? He realized that the black fist had torn apart the Acheron water. Impossible. How could his fist block this kind of power? However, just as he was in a daze, Lin Xian tore apart the Acheron water and then used the secret skill, Army Destroyer. The terrifying power blasted on the opponent's body and sent him flying. Wherever it passed, large cracks would spread continuously, and it would almost explode. Half of his body was cracked. At this moment, his face was full of shock. Impossible. What kind of fist technique was this? He was too shocked. The people from the Acheron Hall were also shocked. The elders of the other holy cities sucked in a breath of cold air. However, a few people who had participated in the Grotto Heaven trial gasped. Why was it so similar to the heaven-piercing palm that this fellow executed? However, only a few people had seen it before. Back then, the heaven-piercing palm could even seal the weapon of a sacred king. The others didn't know at all, and those who knew shook their heads frantically. They didn't believe that no one would be able to learn such an absolute art. Although Nine Nether had participated in the Grotto Heaven test, he did not come from Green Hill Cave. Therefore, he had never seen the black palm before. At this moment, his eyes were red. I don't believe it. Again, the endless water of the yellow springs exploded once again, covering the sky and the earth. This time, the corrosive power was even more terrifying, causing the surrounding people to retreat. In fact, as soon as the aura came out, it caused the world around the array formation to shatter. I don't believe that you can withstand it this time, Lin Xian sneered. His opponent's yellow spring water was indeed terrifying. It could corrode everything. Even if it was the Azure Dragon Seal or the wind shakes the nine heavens, it would still be difficult to resist. If he wanted to fight back, he would have to use the Nine Young Divine Body or the Great Dragon Sword Soul with all his strength. But no matter what, he would be instantly recognized. Lin Xian didn't want to reveal his identity yet, so he decided to continue using the Tiger Demon Fist. The Tiger Demon Fist was extremely frightening. It was very similar to the black palm that reached the heavens. Back then, that palm was immune to all kinds of divine abilities. The corrosive power of the yellow springs was also a kind of divine ability, so Lin Xian wasn't afraid at all. The second style of the Tiger Demon Fist, sky-shattering. The surrounding yellow springs water instantly collapsed. It couldn't withstand the attack at all. The third style of the Tiger Demon Fist, soul suppression. Another cold voice rang out, and a ferocious black tiger appeared between heaven and earth. It was as if the divine monument was suppressing him. Sensing the aura, Nine Nether's eyes were filled with fear. Damn it! He quickly retreated. However, he found that the black monument was completely staring at him, making it impossible for him to dodge. Get lost! He roared at the sky. He used his absolute art to block it. Boom! 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 An earth-shattering sound was heard, and there was a burst of bright light. Everything disappeared. When the light dissipated, everyone saw that Nine Nether was suppressed by the divine monument. He was bleeding terribly. What? Was he defeated? Nine Nether was defeated? It was unbelievable. Countless people exclaimed. The people of the Acheron Hall were also stunned. How was this possible? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. He walked forward. Suddenly, his eyelids twitched as he felt a fatal danger. A golden light flashed in his eyes. He could feel that although Nine Nether seemed to be seriously injured, there was an extremely terrifying power hidden in his body, and it seemed that it could erupt at any time. Damn it, this guy actually dared to set up a trap. Then he would beat him at his own game. As he walked, he secretly created a clone. His true body instantly used the void escape technique and disappeared. Throughout the entire process, his body was surrounded by sword light, so no one noticed it. Even the sages didn't pay attention to him. They were all focused on Nine Nether. Interesting. The soaring Sky Sage King and the desolate Sky Sage King sneered. The eyes of the people of the Acheron Hall turned red. However, the Silver Corpse Sage King said, "Don't be anxious, just watch patiently." Hearing that, these people were stunned. What was going on? Could it be that he could turn the tables? Just as they were puzzled, Lin Xian's clone had already arrived in front of them. He said coldly, "You're worthy of being called a genius with such strength? How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? You really don't know what's good for you." Nine Nether, who was suppressed on the ground, suddenly opened his eyes. He opened his mouth and spat out a terrifying saber light. This attack was too sudden, and the saber light was too terrifying. It was enough to sweep through everything like a peerless saber. In an instant, Lin Xian's clone was split into two. What? He could still fight back? What a terrifying attack. He wasn't injured at all. Many people instantly cheered. It's over. The sword maniac is seriously injured. The sword maniac has been fooled. Exclamations of surprise were heard. The expressions of Morong Qingqing, Shun Jingqiu, and the others instantly changed. They were extremely nervous. The peerless Sage King was also stunned. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and his expression darkened. Ha ha ha. Nine Nether shattered the illusory stone tablet and stood up. There was a hint of malevolence in his eyes. What an idiot. Did I kill you so easily? Little brat, you're too weak to fight with me. His arrogant voice resounded through heaven and earth. The surrounding people were all stunned. The people of the Acheron Hall also smiled. Great. So it was a trap just now. I knew it. How could God Nine Sons lose? That sword maniac wanted to challenge Nine Nether. Looks like he's dead meat now. Don't worry, with senior brother Nine Nether's strength, he won't let that kid die so easily. He'll let him know what regret is. Chapter 42:33. Nine Nether was smug and arrogant as he strode forward. Even if he didn't kill his opponent, he would still be severely injured. Next, he would torture his opponent. However, at this moment, a piercing sword light came from behind him and instantly split him apart. A miserable cry was heard. This time, the surrounding void was completely shattered. The surrounding people were all stunned. What's going on? Who attacked again? Wasn't the sword maniac already killed? Nine Nether also couldn't believe it. His soul swept behind him. The next moment, he roared in horror. How is it possible? You're not dead. Lin Xian walked out from behind him. Do you think your little trap can trap me? What a joke. Lin Xian attacked forcefully. His sword Qi was like a dragon, directly hitting Nine Nether until he kept retreating. Many sword wounds appeared on Nine Nether's body. He was severely injured. Retreat quickly. In the distance, the eyes of the people from the Acheron Hall turned red when they saw this scene. They really didn't expect Nine Nether to be defeated. The other holy cities were even more shocked. Nine Nether gritted his teeth and roared. He retreated into the distance. He was defeated. He was unwilling to accept it, but as long as he could leave the battlefield, then his opponent wouldn't be able to attack him anymore. Lin Xian attacked with the wind, shakes the nine heavens. The terrifying law of wind swept the surroundings and blocked his path. Get lost. Nine Nether roared. His hands turned into black flames as he attacked continuously. At this moment, he didn't hold back at all. However, Lin Xian's sword Qi flew over and extinguished all the flames with a crack. Nine Nether vomited blood and was sent flying. At the same time, he attacked with the lightning chain and wrapped it around Nine Nether. It made it impossible for his opponent to escape. No, damn it, don't you dare. The people from the Acheron Hall in the distance went crazy. The Silver Corpse Holy King opened his eyes and shouted coldly. That's enough. When a Holy King spoke, everyone had to give face. Even if they won, they couldn't kill him. However, Lin Xian didn't care. How could he stop just because the other party said so? He snorted coldly and sent out a sword Qi. It carried an aura that could destroy everything and destroyed the other party's soul. Was he dead? Everyone went crazy. The other party actually killed Nine Nether in front of a Saint King. The people from Acheron Hall roared. The Silver Corpse Saint King's eyes flashed with terrifying killing intent. The other party actually dared to not give him face. Did he want to die? The pressure that belonged to a Saint King surged out, and it rarely reached the nine heavens. At this moment, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. Lin Xian said coldly as he naturally felt the immense pressure. What? You're a dignified Saint King, and also the host this time. Could it be that you want to break the rules? Lin Xian sneered. The Silver Corpse Saint King was so angry that his face turned white. He gritted his teeth and said. He snorted coldly and sat down unwillingly. He couldn't attack, but he definitely wouldn't let the other party have an easy time. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. He was too arrogant. He didn't even take a Saint King seriously. What was this brat trying to do? Was he trying to defy the heavens? That despicable fellow. I'll go and kill him. Many people in the Yellow Spring shop gnashed their teeth. Even the hunters in the crowd began to move. The man who attacked Shen Jingqiu was so angry that he vomited blood. Previously, he didn't care about Lin Xian's threat. However, he didn't expect that Lin Xian would really let him witness the death of a genius. That was the top genius of Acheron Hall. If he died, it would be a huge loss. Therefore, he couldn't help but want to attack. However, Lin Xian didn't give these people a chance. He didn't have any intention of joining the battle. Instead, he stood there and watched the battle with a cold smile. This made everyone who wanted to kill him vomit blood. They were the ones who set the rules, but they didn't expect that they would be trapped by the rules. Damn it. If he dares to kill our genius, we'll kill his genius. The elders gritted their teeth and said, Saint King, let's attack. He must be related to Wushuang City. We'll kill Fu Hongye and Linghu Chueshua. Saint King Wushuang nodded and the hunters moved. However, Fu Hongye's side didn't attack, but Linghu Chueshua's side was in danger. Linghu Chueshua was more than 2,000 years old, but he was only 2,300 years old. However, he had already arrived at another battlefield. This battlefield was for people between 2,000 and 5,000 years old. They were all Saint Venerables, and they were all extremely terrifying Saint Venerables. An extremely terrifying elder made his move and charged at Linghu Chueshua. He held a large black bell in his hand and kept shaking it. The bell's sound shook heaven and earth, and the terrifying sound waves swept in all directions. This battlefield naturally attracted the attention of countless people. Oh no, they're attacking eldest senior brother. The faces of the people from Wushuang City became extremely ugly. They gritted their teeth. Even Saint King Wushuang's face was cold. Lin Xian's face darkened. These people saw that they didn't have a chance to attack him, so they turned to attack others. He started to worry for Linghu Chueshue. After all, the enemy Linghu Chueshue was facing was extremely powerful. Linghu Chueshue received the attack and kept retreating while vomiting blood. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes as he used Wushuang's secret technique to block the attack. However, that old man only smiled sinisterly. "It's useless. Go to hell." "Oh no, that's a late-stage Saint Venerate." Sensing that old man's aura, the crowd's expressions all changed. They began to worry for Linghu Chueshue. A terrifying attack. The large black bell directly pressed down. It wanted to completely suppress Linghu Chueshue. Everyone despaired. The people from the Acheron Hall revealed sinister smiles. However, at this moment of crisis, the sword in Linghu Chueshue's hand burst forth with an incomparable light. Boom, boom, boom. A loud and clear sound was heard, spreading in all directions. When the light dissipated, the crowd was stunned. They discovered that Linghu Chueshue had been injured. As for the old man opposite him, he was split in two. How could this be? Had Linghu Chueshue reached late-stage Saint Venerate? They had all gone mad. Saint King Wushuang laughed. How could his eldest disciple be weak? Damn it! The people from the Acheron Hall clenched their teeth and gave the order to kill. That old man's body healed, and he stood up. However, he had still underestimated Linghu Chueshue. After revealing his true strength, Linghu Chueshue did not show any leniency. Each and every one of his attacks caused heaven and earth to tremble. In the end, that late-stage Saint Venerate was directly killed. Linghu Chueshue's entire body was burning with blood. However, his aura was incomparable. The crowd was astonished. Linghu Chueshue was most definitely a late-stage Saint Venerate. Furthermore, he was an extremely terrifying existence among late-stage Saint Venerates. Countless people cried out in alarm. Was this the strength of Peerless City's eldest disciple? He was simply too powerful. The people from the other holy cities also became incomparably serious. In the second battlefield, the strength that Linghu Chueshue had displayed in his age group had truly astonished everyone. They felt that the situation had turned bad. They had underestimated Linghu Chueshue's strength. Likely, the entire battlefield would change. Chapter 42-34. As expected, Linghu Chueshue did not stop there. Instead, he continued to kill. He killed many powerful sacred sovereigns, and the Acheron Hall suffered heavy losses. 3 sacred sovereigns died in his hands. Similarly, the Great Desolate Mansion and Demon City lost 2 sacred sovereigns as well. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Linghu Chueshue's battle record exploded once again. He was originally in the 50th position in the second battlefield, but now he was in the 30th position. Moreover, his ranking was still rising. He had also broken through the 100-battle winning streak. Is this guy trying to get into the top 10? The surrounding people were going crazy. One should know that most of the people in this battlefield were from the older generation. After all, some of them were 4,000 to 5,000 years old. Those who were 2,000 to 3,000 years old were the top disciples. However, no matter how strong they would not be able to fight against those elders. However, Linghu Chueshue seemed to have broken this rule. When Peerless Sage King saw this, he smiled. The disciples of Peerless City cheered excitedly. Great! Big Senior Brother is mighty. Lin Xin laughed when he saw this. Some people really don't know what's good for them. He looked at the Acheron Hall with a gloating expression. The people of Acheron Hall were going crazy. At the same time, the people of Demon City and Great Desolate Mansion were vomiting blood. They could only compete and look for an opportunity. At this moment, Peerless City was in the limelight again. Lin Xian was also looking for an opportunity. However, his body suddenly shook and his face changed. Not good. After the continuous battles, his strength had increased again. The seal that was originally suppressing him was about to break. If he broke through, he would attract the heavenly punishment. It would probably be an attack that could destroy the world. Lin Xian's face turned pale. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw this. What's going on? What's wrong with this kid? Is he injured? He must have been too arrogant. How could he not be injured? It would be best if he was seriously injured. Seeing Lin Xian's performance, cold laughter could be heard one after another. They felt great. If this kid's injuries were to explode, they would have one less powerful enemy. The people of Peerless City were also shocked. Peerless Sage King frowned. He transmitted his voice and asked, "Junior brother, what's wrong?" Lin Xian said, "I can't suppress my cultivation anymore. I might break through to Holy Venerate." Peerless Holy King was speechless. If others wanted to break through to Holy Venerate, they would be overjoyed. However, the other party was still trying to suppress him. If word of this got out, the geniuses here would probably vomit blood from anger. However, as soon as Lin Xian explained, he understood that Lin Xian's situation was different. He was suppressed by the Great Tao and could not break through. If he tried to break through by force, he would be punished by the heavens. He could only go to planet Xiuan, a world with powerful enemies. "It seems like I'll have to help you." Peerless Saint released a clone. He quietly came to Lin Xian's side. Then, Lin Xian entered the mysterious small sword world in his body. The Peerless Saint King said, "I'll use the Peerless Seal to suppress your cultivation for now. This way, you don't have to worry about anything and can attack to your heart's content." Then, he used the Peerless Seal on Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian realized that the feeling of breaking through had disappeared, which made him heave a sigh of relief. It was too dangerous. If he broke through while fighting, he would be in big trouble. "Senior brother, can I go to planet Xiuan if I win the competition?" Lin Xian asked. Peerless Saint King smiled. "Well, I'll give you some hope. You can fight first. Anyway, with your strength, you'll definitely be able to go to planet Xiuan." Peerless Saint King smiled mysteriously, then he left. The people around could not see Lin Xian, so they asked, "Where did that kid go?" "Who knows? He probably escaped because of his serious injuries." Sigh, what a pity. But thinking about it, he was able to kill so many experts. How could he not be injured? He's just holding on. Sigh, a genius of the generation has fallen. It's a pity that he didn't die on the battlefield. Murong Qingcheng. Xin Jingqiu was also worried. However, after Peerless Saint King returned, he sent a voice transmission to the two of them, which made them heave a sigh of relief. "That's great. That kid is seriously injured. He probably won't appear for a while. He might even die from his injuries." Many people laughed. The people from Demon City also sent out their own geniuses to join the battle. The same went for the Acheron Hall of Great Baron Mansion. Huang 16 came to the arena and sent a sacred venerable flying in 3 moves. In the next 3 battles, he won within 5 moves, which attracted the attention of many people. The people from Great Baron Mansion smiled in satisfaction. Old 16's strength has improved quite a bit. It seems like he'll definitely be able to make it to the top 30. If we train him well, he might even become a Saint King. They were very satisfied, and Huang 16 did not let them down. Soon, he won 20 consecutive battles, defeating his opponents within 5 moves. Everyone knew that another hidden genius had appeared. "Who dares to challenge me?" Huang 16 stood there with his sword pointing in all directions, exuding a domineering aura. At that moment, many people fell silent. They did not even dare to look him in the eye. There were too many dark horses in this world. Previously, there was an expert like the Sword Maniac. They thought that if the Sword Maniac did not appear and disappear, those geniuses would be able to make a comeback and stand out. Who would have thought that there was still a hidden expert? Huang 16 appeared. He did not make a move before, but now, he dominated the world. There was really a second Sword Maniac. Why is he so arrogant? Why didn't he make a move when the Sword Maniac was here? Now he's here. In the distance, Wang Xiaofeng and the others gritted their teeth. They were very dissatisfied with the other party's arrogance. However, the other party did have the right to be arrogant. Why? Is there no one who dares to challenge me? How disappointing. Huang 16 roared. This feeling of looking down on the world is really great. I've only been away for a short while, and someone can't wait to show off. When the tiger is not around, the monkey will be king. Since you want to fight, I'll accompany you. A cold snort was heard. Then, a stream of light landed on the arena. The surrounding people were stunned. Who's so arrogant? Who dares to challenge Huang 16? However, when they saw the figure, they were all stunned. Isn't the sword maniac seriously injured? He probably won't be able to participate in the competition for the rest of his life. How could he be back? In an instant, countless people exclaimed. The faces of the experts from the various holy cities turned ugly. The killing god is back. The eyelids of the people from the great, desolate mansion twitched. Huang 16 was also stunned. His face darkened. So it's you. To be honest, the other party was indeed very strong. He had to treat him seriously. Lin Xian said, "That's right, it's me. Didn't you say that no one wants to challenge you? Fine, I'll challenge you now. Make your move." As soon as he said that, the crowd went into an uproar. Everyone knew how powerful the sword maniac was. Although Huang 16 did not fight much, he seemed to be able to dominate the world. The two of them would definitely fight fiercely. However, the people from the Acheron Hall were indeed worried. They were full of confidence in Nine Nether. However, the result made their hearts bleed. They could not afford to lose any more experts. Therefore, they said, 16, come back? Chapter 42:35. The crowd went crazy when they heard that. What did that mean? Did the great desolate mansion have no confidence in Huang 16? Otherwise, why would they ask Huang 16 to go back? Huang 16's face darkened. Did their elders not believe in him? Damn it. He gritted his teeth and did not leave. Lin Xian laughed when he saw that. Why are you still here? Your elders are calling you back for dinner. Hurry up and leave. You're useless. What did you say? Huang 16 roared. Don't be too arrogant. I'm not afraid of you. Today, I'm going to fight you to the death. I'll show everyone who's the strongest. Huang 16 raised his right hand, and the sword of desolation appeared in his hand. It shone brightly. Old 16, come back quickly. The elders of the great desolate mansion shouted again. Desolate 16 turned around and looked into the distance. He gritted his teeth and said, Old Zhang, trust me. I'll definitely kill this kid. Please give me a chance. What? The elders hesitated. To be honest, they did not want Huang 16 to come back. After all, it would be a huge blow to their confidence. However, saving their lives was more important. At this moment, the Silver Corpse Sage King said, Let him fight. Otherwise, this will become his inner demon. He would never be able to advance in his life. Indeed, everyone had been through this stage. They knew that if they could not defeat a strong opponent, they would be defeated. They would be suppressed for the rest of their lives. It was a terrible feeling. Therefore, the elders of the Acheron Hall did not stop him. Instead, they said, Be careful. Don't worry. I won't let him continue to be arrogant. Huang 16 was extremely confident. Kid, in the previous battles, no one, be it sage venerables or experts, could last more than 5 moves from me. Killing you will not be an exception. Huang 16 displayed an unparalleled domineering aura, causing everyone to exclaim in surprise. The people of the great desolate mansion nodded. It seemed like there would be no problem. After all, this sword maniac seemed to be injured. Perhaps he had not recovered yet. He was only temporarily suppressed. This way, he would not be able to unleash his full strength. Humph. His time of death has finally come. Not more than 5 moves? In the arena, Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes after hearing this. He stretched out 3 fingers. If he couldn't finish him off in 3 moves, he wouldn't fight again for the rest of his life. Wow, even more arrogant. Everyone thought that Desolate 13 had become even more arrogant. Unexpectedly, the sword fanatic was even more arrogant. Finish the battle in 3 moves? Wouldn't he be too arrogant? Some people frowned. Although they knew that Lin Xian was very powerful, Huang 16 was also a top-notch expert. Could such a person be defeated in 3 moves? Desolate 16's expression darkened. The other party actually dared to look down on him, which made him very unhappy. Kill. With a roar, the Baron's sword in his hand slashed down with a terrifying aura. It slashed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't waste any time either, saying that he would kill his opponent in 3 moves. He would not be soft-hearted. With an angry roar, he went all out. The first move of the Tiger Demon Fist, Army Destroyer. A black fist blasted out, heading straight for the Baron's sword. The terrifying power shattered the Desolate sword, and the terrifying aura swept towards Desolate 16. Boom. Desolate 16's expression changed drastically. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so strong. He quickly retreated, but in an instant, half of his body was shrouded by the power, turning into a bloody mist. What? Lin Xian seriously injured him with one punch? The surrounding people went crazy. Why did this sword fanatic seem even more terrifying than before? The faces of the people from the great desolate mansion turned ugly. Could it be? Did they make the wrong decision again? They wanted to shout for Desolate 16 to come back, but it was too late. After Lin Xian's first move succeeded, the second move of the Tiger Demon Fist appeared again. Damn it! Sensing that Lin Xian's fist technique had changed again, Desolate 16 roared, and a pagoda rushed out from his body, emitting a desolate aura. At the same time, he spat out two shields in front of him. He didn't believe that he couldn't block it. These were all extremely terrifying weapons. Their defense was super strong. However, under the second move, everything was torn apart. Nothing could stop it. Desolate 16's body also cracked under the heavens' collapse, turning into a bloody mist. Desolate 16 raised his head and roared, his voice filled with endless fear. He turned into a bloody ray of light and flew into the distance. The arrogance he had before was all gone. Killing the enemy in 5 moves? He threw all those thoughts to the back of his mind. He wanted to run for his life because he realized that Lin Xian was too strong. He was no match for Lin Xian. Desolate 16 had actually fled. The spectators were all stunned. The experts from the sacred city were also shocked. The people from the great desolate mansion were also nervous. However, Desolate 16 was decisive. He ran away when he couldn't win. This still gave them hope. Don't you think it's too late for you to run? The third move of the Tiger Demon Fist, Soul Suppression, Lin Xian roared and unleashed his strength to the maximum. A whistling sound was heard. It shocked the heavens and earth. In an instant, the black shadow of a ferocious tiger descended from the sky, suppressing the fleeing Desolate 16. Desolate 16 fell onto the arena and spat out a mouthful of blood. He didn't run away? Countless people exclaimed. The people from the Acheron Hall also had ugly expressions. They felt despair. Was another prodigy going to fall? Desolate 16 roared crazily. Damn it, kid. Let me go. My brother is Desolate 13, a top expert of the previous generation. You're dead meat if you touch me. How dare you threaten me now? I don't care who your brother is. Even if your ancestor is a sage king, I won't let you go today. Lin Xian sneered and slapped Desolate 16. Desolate 16's face instantly shattered. He couldn't say a word. His eyes were filled with fear. Lin Xian laughed. Don't worry, I won't kill you. However, I will cripple you. I'll turn you into a complete cripple. Desolate 16 still had a glimmer of hope, but when he heard Lin Xian's words, he lost all hope. Lin Xian was a demon. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't. At the next moment, he felt a terrifying sword intent surge into his body, directly destroying his foundation. At the same time, his soul was severely injured and became extremely weak. It was over. The cultivation and strength that he had painstakingly cultivated for over 1,000 years had all been crippled at this moment. He had become a cripple. This was worse than killing him. Get lost, you piece of trash. I don't want to kill you. Lin Xian kicked Desolate 16 away. Desolate 16's body flew into the distance like a broken kite. He landed in front of the elders of the great desolate mansion. The elders of the great desolate mansion gritted their teeth. They went forward to check on Desolate 16 and found that he had become a cripple. What a terrifying move. The surrounding people were stunned. Lin Xian was going to fight to the death with the great desolate mansion. The Silver Corpse Sage King's eyes shone with a terrifying light as he stared at Lin Xian. No one had ever dared to provoke them like this. Lin Xian was courting death. However, Lin Xian didn't care. When these Sage Kings wanted to kill him, they didn't think that this would happen. He snorted coldly. At the same time, a roar came from the second battlefield. Then, a figure that looked like a demon flew over. He looked down on the world. Who dared to cripple my brother? Chapter 42:36. A cold voice resounded in the air, sending chills down everyone's spine. Everyone raised their heads and exclaimed in shock, Huang Shisan, he's going to fight? He was from the same generation as Fu Hongye. Even though he was 2,030 years old, he was assigned to the second battlefield. Fu Hongye was over 1,800 years old and was still in the third battlefield. What? You're not happy? I'll kill you like a dog in the next battle. Lin Xin's voice was so cold that everyone almost fainted. Is this kid really that reckless? What a reckless kid. Huang Shisan's face was cold, and a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. He was about to fight. However, a few elders flew over and said coldly, Huang Shisan, please follow the rules. Otherwise, we'll kill you. Despicable. Huang Shisan didn't attack, but roared at the sky. Kid, just you wait. Do you think the rules can protect you forever? I'll make you wish you were dead in the next round. Desolate 13 turned around and walked away from La. The surrounding people exclaimed, What does this mean? Can Huang Shisan fight in the second round? They didn't know, but if it's true, this sword maniac is really in danger. Lin Xin narrowed his eyes. The second round? I'm looking forward to it. However, some people obviously couldn't wait until the second round. The desolate Heaven Sage King was preparing to send a super hunter to kill Huang Shisan. Even the Demon City and the Acheron Palace were preparing to go all out. Peerless Saint King sent a telepathic message to Lin Xin, asking him not to make any more moves to avoid any danger. Lin Xin nodded. It's about time. The rest will be left for the second round. Therefore, he didn't attack. Although he had given the record to Morong Qingqing before, he had made up for it by killing a couple of top warriors later on. He had also won 100 battles in a row. Therefore, he wouldn't have a problem advancing to the next round. Lin Xin didn't attack anymore. Instead, he kept watching. There were a few people he paid attention to. For example, Wan Jini and Chao Tiansheng. Those who went to the second battlefield with him were too powerful. Seeing that Lin Xin had stopped attacking, the Acheron Hall and the other holy cities were about to vomit blood. Damn it, they were prepared to join hands and start a big hunt. But who would have thought that they would hit nothing but air? This caused them to grit their teeth so hard that they were about to break, but there was nothing they could do. It seemed like this guy wanted to enter the second stage safely. Did he think that he could escape after entering? Just wait, the second trial will be the day of his death. I will let him know what hell is. These Saint Kings gnashed their teeth. Finally, after another half a month, the ancient arena slowly disappeared and the battle stopped. Knowing that the first trial was over, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Was it finally over? Although the battle was thrilling to watch, the losses suffered by the holy cities were really too heavy. This was because many experts and geniuses had already fallen. Many holy venerates had even died in the first stage. At this moment, the entire heavenly wind world was filled with the smell of blood, causing people to faint. The people in the extraterritorial observatory were terrified as well. These dead geniuses and experts could easily sweep through a region in the outside world. But now that they had fallen, was it worth it? The experts and elders of the holy cities had ugly looks on their faces. However, in the end, they took a deep breath and dispelled the sorrow in their eyes. Although the losses were heavy, it was worth it. The path of martial arts was extremely dangerous. Only those who lived and grew could become the ultimate experts. The people of the Acheron Hall, Great Desolate Mansion, Demon City, these three holy cities had ugly looks on their faces. The reason for that was because their side had suffered even greater losses. Nearly half of their people had been killed by Lin Xin. Many of them were top geniuses who had the potential to become Saint Kings in the future. But now, they had all fallen. Next was the recuperation period. Everyone had 10 days to recover. After 10 days, the second trial would begin. As for what the second trial would be, no one knew. They could only raise their cultivation and strength to the peak to deal with any possibilities. On the 9th day, the silver corpse Saint King walked out and announced, "The first trial has ended. Those who have achieved 50 consecutive victories will pass the second trial." As soon as the announcement was made, there was an uproar. This meant that those who had survived would be eliminated. After all, they had not achieved 50 consecutive victories. The conditions were too strict. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. Those who entered the second trial were definitely experts among experts. The Holy Heavens Tao discussion is a matter of the second heavenly boundary. Although most of the participants are experts from the holy cities, we have also invited some rogue cultivators. However, the second trial will be difficult for rogue cultivators. It will require the strength of a team. Therefore, these rogue cultivators can join the holy cities. They can complete the second trial together. As soon as the announcement was made, everyone understood. At the same time, the rogue cultivators who had appeared earlier walked out. Then, they walked in all directions. It seemed that they were going to return for real. When the other holy cities saw this, their eyes flickered. They were not going to give them a chance. Instead, they were going to let their rogue cultivators return under some guise. Lin Xian naturally knew this. He immediately snorted coldly. However, he had also appeared as a rogue cultivator. Therefore, he had to choose a sect. It seemed like the second trial was not an individual battle. Could it be a team battle? It seemed like it was time to return. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The others were also paying attention. They also wanted to know which force this kid belonged to. However, they were not sure. Among them, Ming Qing walked out and said, "Sword Maniac, why don't you join the Blue Dragon tribe? We can definitely help you pass the second trial." As soon as he said this, everyone was shocked. Could it be that this guy was really related to the Dragon tribe? The Winged Dragon tribe and the Saber Dragon tribe also hurried out and invited him. They knew that he had the Blue Dragon horn. If they could get closer to him, their future benefits would be endless. Therefore, the 3 dragon tribes were competing to invite him. Everyone was stunned. What was this kid's relationship with them? Guan Songhai invited him on behalf of the Songhai Pavilion. Even Qin Xiener came out and invited him to join. Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu also came out and invited him with smiles. Everyone was dumbfounded. Their eyes were red and they were incomparably envious. Who didn't want to be respected by the various holy cities? Their dreams were actually fulfilled by a young man. Lin Xian thought for a while and said, "Everyone's invitation is really hard to refuse. I'll be embarrassed to reject anyone. How about this? I'll leave it to fate. Let's see who God wants me to choose. After this sword spins, I'll join whichever faction the sword peak is facing." Lin Xian waved his hand, and a sword light spun in the sky like a fiery wheel. Finally, the sword tip pointed towards Wushuang City. Of course, he was secretly controlling it, because he felt that it was time to go back. Seeing this, the people from Wushuang City were stunned. Such a top expert was going to join them? If so, they might have a higher chance of winning the second trial. Wushuang Sage King squinted his eyes and smiled. This kid wanted to come back, but he still had to use so many tricks. Chapter 42:37. The people from Thousand Demon City and Acheron Palace were filled with killing intent when they saw this. They had already guessed that the other party was related to Wushuang City, and it seemed like it was true. Damn it, I'll send all of them to hell this time. Their eyes were filled with coldness. The Silver Corpse Sage King walked out and said, "The second stage will begin tomorrow, and I'll tell you the rules of the second stage. The second stage. All of you will enter a unique space where you will fight. There is no age restriction, but Sage Kings and Sage Kings are not allowed to use their weapons." Everyone was in disbelief when they heard this. What? No age restriction? Does that mean all the people from the first and second battlefields can come? Oh my God. Although they were all sacred venerables, the people from the third battlefield were all early sacred venerables. The first and second battlefields were different. The second battlefields were mostly mid-sacred venerables, and there were a few late sacred venerables. The first battlefields were all late sacred venerables, and they were all old monsters who had lived for more than 5,000 years. If they fought, they would most likely die. Who could stop them? In an instant, everyone was in an uproar. However, The eyes of the experts from the various sacred cities flickered. It was obvious that they already knew about this rule, said the Silver Corpse Saint King in a low voice. Everyone quieted down and he continued. The Tao discussion is not only a test of talent, but it is also a risk to survive in the myriad worlds. Therefore, the second battle is to make it as realistic as possible. Only those who can survive in the complicated battles are geniuses and experts. Moreover, you don't have to fight alone. You can form an alliance, and it's up to you. I will give each of you a command medallion, but each command medallion will be different. There are 3 types of tokens: heaven, earth, and mortal. Only by gathering all 3 types of tokens can you pass the second stage. You have 1 month in the second stage. Everyone was stunned. Not only did they have to survive, but they also had to gather all 3 types of tokens. There was also a 1-month time limit. Oh my God, this is an impossible task. Lin Xian was also stunned. He asked, "What's wrong with senior brother?" If that was the case, there would be very few people who could pass the second stage. The peerless Sacred King sighed and transmitted his voice. This wasn't the first time this had happened. Originally, they didn't expect too many people to pass the second round. He didn't plan on letting too many people pass. Lin Xian was shocked. What was going on? Could it be related to going to planet Xiwan? No matter what, he has to pass. The other sacred cities also inquired about this matter. However, after learning about it, these people quieted down. He was afraid that the second trial would be even more brutal than the first. All right, once you enter the second stage, you won't have any chance of admitting defeat, so it's not too late to back out now. A cold voice sounded. However, those participants' gazes were resolute. Although they knew that the road ahead was dangerous, so what? They had encountered so many dangers along the way. It wasn't easy for him to come this far, so how could he give up? As long as there was a glimmer of hope, they had to fight hard, so no one gave up. Very good. The Silver Corpse Saint King smiled when he saw this. He would rest for another day. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, it will begin. Everyone went back and gathered together to discuss countermeasures for the second stage. After all, the second stage wasn't an individual battle. It was a group battle, so the distribution was very important. Most of the sacred cities had to select a few geniuses, which meant that even if they got the token, they would give it to those geniuses first. They had to ensure that those geniuses successfully appeared. Peerless City was also discussing this matter. Lin Xian was surprised to find that Peerless City didn't send too many people this time. There were only about a dozen people in total. Although there were quite a number of people, compared to the other sacred cities, it was much smaller. That was because the other sacred cities only had a few dozen people. The difference in numbers was 2 to 3 times. However, Peerless Holy King didn't care. He was very confident. Lin Xian also found out that the participants this time were all direct disciples, which meant that they were trained by Peerless Holy King. There were a total of 7 people. Other than that, there were also Lin Xian and Xinjingqiu. That was a total of 9 people. There were also 2 advanced sacred venerables, which made a total of 11 people. Although the number was small, Peerless Holy King was very confident. The other sacred cities also quickly made their preparations. The night passed quickly. When the sun rose the next day, everyone took a deep breath. They all stood up, and the sacred kings also walked out. Sacred King Silver Corpse stood above the 9 heavens. He said, "Open it." These sacred kings formed seals and pressed down on the void. The entire void let out a loud roar. Soon, an ancient phantom appeared. It was indomitable, as if it was an immortal king. He held a mirror in his hand. The mirror was drawn in the shape of a whirlpool. Sacred King Silver Corpse said coldly, "Walk in." It was the location of the second stage. After that, the people from Acheron Hall took the lead and rushed in. 47 people from Acheron Hall entered, and each of them was extremely powerful. After they entered, they went to Demon City, Thunder God City, Great Desolation Mansion, and other sacred cities all entered. Peerless Holy King took a deep breath and said, "You guys go too." With the 2 older generation figures taking the lead, Lin Xian and the others also soared into the sky and walked inside. Looking at the disappearing figures, Acheron Hall, great desolation mansion, and other sacred cities had cold killing intent in their eyes. This time, they would not return. After everyone left, the sacred kings formed seals again. The mysterious mirror in the sky shone brightly. Then, it formed a light screen. When the surrounding people saw the scene in the mirror, they exclaimed in surprise. It was the person who had just entered. Indeed, the mirror had transformed into the person who had just entered the room. Not only that, the mirror formed 24 light screens. Between heaven and earth, everyone could see it. Even those from the extraterritorial region could see it clearly. So this was what the second stage looked like. Although they had entered, they could clearly see the situation of these people. They wondered what kind of intense battle would happen next. Lin Xian took a deep breath after entering. He knew that it would be very dangerous. However, when he appeared, he was stunned because he realized that there was no one around. Random teleportation. He was surprised. If that was the case, he had to meet up first. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous. Fortunately, everyone would be randomly teleported. Therefore, he was not afraid that there would be a situation in the early stages where they outnumbered him. They had already thought of such a situation, so they had thought of a strategy to deal with it. Lin Xian took out his token and sent a voice transmission. They began to gather. Chapter 42:38. The geniuses who were scattered all over the place also started to move quickly. At the same time, the elders of the various great sacred cities were watching the battle silently. They were extremely nervous. After all, they could not control the situation inside and could only watch from the outside. Suddenly, someone exclaimed as they realized that someone had fallen. The one who was killed was a sacred venerate from the seven-star tower. The one who attacked was Huang Shisan from the great desolate mansion. He was extremely terrifying and no one could escape from him. The people from the seven-star tower looked terrible, but they could not do anything. Next, everyone watched the battle anxiously. In this space, Lin Xian frowned. He had a strong advantage, and that was the heavenly strike god eye, which allowed him to see more space than others. When he used his heaven-grade god art, he had a strange feeling that he was being stared at by countless people. Could it be that the people outside could see what was happening inside? Lin Xian was surprised, although he was not sure. However, it was better to be careful. Endless lightning surrounded his body and covered his golden eyes. Then, he used his eye technique to look around. Buzz. Suddenly, Lin Xian's body swayed and he quickly dodged. Where he originally stood, an extremely terrifying crack appeared, splitting everything apart. It was a ray of light that was more dazzling than the sun. Fortunately, Lin Xian reacted quickly and dodged it. The person who attacked in the dark was also surprised. He was able to dodge it. However, when Lin Xian turned around and the person saw Lin Xian's face, he smiled bitterly. "It's you, sword maniac." He turned around and fled without saying a word. To be honest, he did not know who Lin Xian was when he launched the sneak attack, but now, he saw it clearly. He knew how terrifying the sword fanatic was, so he was very decisive when he fled. Lin Xian frowned. He waved his hand and a ray of sword light shot out like lightning. It sent the person flying, causing him to vomit blood. "No, don't kill me. I didn't know it was you. I'm willing to hand over my token. Please spare my life." This person was an expert from the Limitless sect. At this moment, he was very decisive. Lin Xian took the token and snorted, "Scram!" If it was outside, even if the other party was from the Limitless sect, he would not have let them off. But here, he didn't go overboard. At least, he didn't kill the other party. He knew that the Yellow Spring Hall, the Great Desolation Palace, and the Demon City would definitely team up. Even Lei Shansheng and the 10,000 Swords Pavilion would join hands. Therefore, Peerless City had a lot of enemies. If they wanted to fight back, they had to join forces with other forces. So now, he was looking for some allies that he could unite with. At this moment, a mirror appeared in the sky and shrouded the area below. It was obvious that it was a saint artifact. It seemed that someone had already started looking for it. At the same time, several pairs of eyes appeared in the sky. Evidently, these were all terrifying eye techniques. Lin Xian relied on his heavenly secret divine eyes to move quickly. He had already defeated several people. He had also obtained quite a few tokens, but he still hadn't managed to gather all of them. After all, everyone had different tokens, and there would be a lot of overlap. Even if he managed to gather all of them, he would continue to attack because he wanted to eliminate as many people from the holy city as possible. When the experts outside saw this scene, they were shocked. This sword maniac moved so quickly. Yes, he has already obtained 6 tokens. Why do I feel that he can instantly locate the location of the enemy? Could it be that he also has a powerful eye technique? These people were puzzled. Even the Sage Kings frowned. They seemed to want to see through the light screen. However, Lin Xian had a layer of lightning defense on his body. Moreover, they couldn't interfere with the situation inside the space, so they could only watch. Next, the other geniuses started to attack quickly and obtained many more tokens. Some of them were killed, while others only lost their tokens and didn't die. Therefore, they just needed to snatch the tokens back within a month. Therefore, they became even crazier. For a moment, all kinds of battles broke out. Suddenly, the ancient mirror in the sky lowered its gaze and shrouded Lin Xian. At the same time, countless laws were scattered around the area, forming a seal. At the same time, a cold smile appeared on the lips of some people in the distance. Found it. They were people from the demon city. At this moment, 3 figures quickly rushed over. Are you going to attack me? Lin Xian sneered. He threw a punch at the seal, causing it to tremble non-stop. At the same time, the 3 great monsters who were rushing over from afar also changed their expressions. Not good. Speed up. He seemed to be fighting back. A pair of wings appeared behind one of them and wrapped the 2 of them. The wings moved gently and directly tore through the void. Their speed increased exponentially. The other person was wrapped in the wings. His palms were constantly forming seals, causing the mirror in the sky to continuously hammer down light. An unparalleled power erupted from the mirror, causing the world to constantly collide with each other. So much so that some people nearby also sensed it. Their faces turned pale, and they quickly retreated. Someone was attacking. What a terrifying attack! Exclamations could be heard. At the same time, the people who were watching from outside naturally noticed this. That swordsman was targeted, and a great battle was about to break out. They were extremely nervous. And in the space, Lin Xian's lips curled into a disdainful smile. The sword chi on his body burned, making him look like a sword god. With a sword, he split the seal. However, Lin Xian did not leave. Instead, he was waiting. These people wanted to kill him. He was here to send these people to hell. The 3 demon sages were very fast and arrived in an instant. Seeing that Lin Xian had broken the seal and did not escape, the 3 of them were stunned. Then, their faces darkened. Kid, you actually dare to wait here. You're really impatient. Well, I'll take you down today. Earth-shattering power erupted from the 3 of them, and the light of the laws shot into the sky. It was as if the 3 volcanoes had been revived. Lin Xian didn't say much either. He immediately unleashed his tiger demon all out and charged forward. Army Destroyer, Skybreaker, Soul Suppressor. The 3 attacks came one after another. Between heaven and earth, a tiger's roar sounded. It was abnormally terrifying. The 3 demon sages naturally knew how powerful it was. They roared and attacked together. The 3 of them used their terrifying unique skills. Among them, the one with the wings of shrouding heaven on his back turned his wings into 2 heavenly blades, which flashed with a terrifying light. Another person controlled the mirror and used a soul attack. The last person let out a roar as he punched out with a terrifying fist, causing the world around him to collapse. Chapter 42:39. The people outside exclaimed when they saw this scene. The sword maniac shouldn't be able to block it this time, right? Boom, boom, boom. The 3 divine powers collided with the tiger demon fist. Rays of light exploded, and the terrifying laws shocked the world. Then, the 3 divine powers were torn apart, and the 3 beast overlords were sent flying. The spectators outside sucked in a breath of cold air, revealing incomparably shocked expressions. The sword maniac was too powerful, right? The three beast overlords in the space also had ugly looks on their faces. The other party was able to fight against them, and the three of them were able to injure them. A cold light burst out from their eyes, and they attacked with all their might. With a roar, their bloodline was fully activated. The terrifying wings of shrouding heaven fluttered between heaven and earth. The ancient mirror kept growing bigger and bigger, like a mountain descending, causing heaven and earth to shatter. The last beast overlord even waved his fist, shattering the void. It had the power to wipe out thousands of troops. These were the three ultimate moves, but they were easily broken by Lin Xian. The bodies of the three split open, turning into rain that scattered between heaven and earth. Lin Xian's strength was far beyond the expectations of the three. The three of them probably didn't expect it even when they were dying. The attack formed by the three of them was broken so easily. They were really weak. After Lin Xian killed the three of them, he took their storage rings. Then, a large black hand grabbed at the void. He directly controlled the mirror. The mirror wanted to fight back, but Lin Xian slapped it. His heavenly secret divine eyes shattered the soul imprint on it. The Thousand Demon City was really reckless. Lin Xian snorted. He directly controlled the mirror and began to search around. He was looking for the people of the Thousand Demon City. The spectators outside exclaimed in surprise. The faces of the people of the Thousand Demon City turned ugly again. Would the nine-headed Qilin be in danger? That's right. Lin Xian was indeed looking for the people of the Thousand Demon City. Originally, he had a heaven-level divine power, but once he used it, he was afraid that he would be exposed. But now, with this ancient mirror, there was nothing to be afraid of. His soul power flowed in continuously, allowing him to scan his surroundings. Soon, he saw the phantoms of a few demonic beasts. Kill. Lin Xian controlled the mirror and flew out. Soon, he arrived in the sky and shot a shocking bolt of lightning at the mountain range below. A crazy roar came from below. A lizard suddenly appeared. Its tail was drawn in the shape of a 1,000-mile mountain range, sweeping across the sky. However, it was easily pierced through by Lin Xian. After 3 moves, the giant lizard was blown apart. After seizing the token and storage ring, Lin Xian continued on his way. Next, he attacked fiercely, killing 5 terrifying demonic beasts. Finally, he met a person. When he saw this person, a smile appeared on his face. Nine-headed Qilin. Nine-headed Qilin's expression was extremely ugly. There were only 2 people beside him. Logically speaking, with his status, it was impossible for him to have so few guards. But after all, it was a random teleportation. After he arrived, he did not have time to gather others. But now, he was found by Lin Xian. This made him feel like he was facing a great enemy. When Nine-headed Qilin saw Lin Xian, his face turned green. He turned around and fled. Lin Xian shot out a bolt of lightning, which turned into a sea of lightning and completely sealed the entire space. In the next moment, he walked forward. Why? You want to leave so soon after seeing me? Where's your arrogance from before? Damn brat. If you dare to do anything, you're dead. The experts of the Demon City are nearby. Nine-headed Qilin gritted his teeth and roared. Outside, the people of the Demon City were also stunned when they saw this scene. Soaring Sky Sage King even stood up, his eyes filled with killing intent. A terrifying aura shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Everyone trembled. His cold voice sounded. Sword Maniac, you're dead. The people of the 3 dragon tribes' faces darkened. Peerless Sage King even sneered. Why can't you keep your cool? If you're so afraid of death, why let him in? Moreover, it's useless for you to scream here. Go in if you dare. Damn it. Soaring Sky Sage King was about to vomit blood. He couldn't control this space, so he naturally couldn't go in. Moreover, there were so many Sage Kings. If he broke the rules, he would be attacked by them. He sat down coldly and gritted his teeth. If anything happens to Nine-headed Qilin, he's dead. The Sword Maniac will definitely die. Whoever dares to protect him will be going against the Demon City. I'll definitely destroy his soul. The cold voice made everyone know that the demon city was really angry this time. I wonder what will happen to nine-headed Qilin? Does this sword maniac dare to make a move? In the space, Lin Xian looked at nine-headed Qilin and laughed. You still dare to threaten me? Seems like you don't know what's good for you. Go. The two of you. Kill him. Nine-headed Qilin roared. Beside him were two demon sages. One was shining like the sun, while the other was cold like a devil. These two were powerful guardians. Roar. The one on the left was a flaming sparrow. It opened its mouth and spewed out divine flames that burned the nine heavens. The one on the right spewed out terrifying demonic clouds that covered the sky and the sun. It carried a cold aura. When the two of them attacked, it was really terrifying. However, it was a pity that they met Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He waved his hand, and the tiger demon fist and blue dragon seal erupted again. The dragon roared, and the tiger roared. The heavens collapsed, and the earth cracked. The sky, full of divine flames and terrifying demonic clouds, were all shattered. The two of them also exclaimed, "Not good, ninth young master. He's too strong. We'd better escape quickly." Nine-headed Qilin's expression became extremely ugly. Can we escape? As expected, lightning kept appearing around Lin Xian, as well as terrifying sword chi. The sword chi cut off everything. The three of you don't have to surrender. If you kneel down obediently, I can consider leaving your corpses intact. Nine-headed Qilin gritted his teeth. He knew that the demon city had targeted him previously. The other party would definitely not show mercy. Therefore, he said, "The two of you, hold on for a while. I'm going to use a secret technique." He gritted his teeth, and the illusion of a nine-headed heavenly snake and a Qilin appeared on his body. At the same time, he spat out a huge seal. There was a Qilin coiling around the seal. It was abnormally terrifying. Could it be a treasure left behind by the legendary Qilin race? When the spectators saw this, they exclaimed. They didn't expect nine-headed Qilin to have such a trump card. When the two demon sages saw this, they also took a deep breath. This was the only way. Therefore, their eyes turned red. They were going all out. The laws on their bodies erupted, and they let out terrifying roars. The two of them used their secret techniques and rushed over again. Oomph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. The wind and lightning laws condensed in his hand, forming a huge and indestructible sickle. When the sickle slashed down, it destroyed everything. Soon, screams were heard. The two demon sages couldn't even block a single move. They were directly killed. Their souls wanted to run, but they were directly enveloped by two balls of golden flames. They burned rapidly. The miserable screams made one's scalp go numb. Nine-headed Qilin was stunned. They can't even block a single move? He gritted his teeth and spat out blood, staining the Qilin seal. The Qilin seal erupted with an unparalleled radiance, and a terrifying roar sounded from it. It was as if a Qilin had been resurrected and rushed towards the sky. With a crack, he broke the seal. Chapter 42:40. Great! The nine-headed dragon was overjoyed when it saw this. It turned into a stream of light and tried to leave with the Qilin seal. However, at this moment, a large black palm slapped over and enveloped him. Damn it! The nine-headed dragon roared and blew at the Qilin seal as it charged forward. It wanted to fight against the other party. The Qilin charged into the clouds and wanted to tear the black palm apart. Boom! The two collided and terrifying laws swept in all directions. Countless large cracks spread rapidly. I blocked it. The nine-headed dragon heaved a sigh of relief. Finally, I can fight against the other party. However, he soon realized that he was too naive. There were strange runes on the black palm, and it directly blasted the Qilin's attack away. The black palm closed and grabbed the Qilin directly. At this moment, another palm slapped over. Like the phantom of an azure dragon, it rushed towards Qujin. The nine-headed dragon screamed in pain, and its body was instantly torn apart. No! Outside, the people of the demon city roared crazily when they saw this scene. The nine-headed dragon couldn't block such an attack at all. He would definitely be killed. The nine-headed dragon only had 3 lives left. Now, he only had 2 left. Can he still fight against it? Damn it! Why don't those people dare to come? The 9-headed dragon was indeed killed. The azure dragon heart was definitely not something that he could withstand. However, his bloodline was special and he could revive after death. Not long after, the 9-headed dragon phantom appeared on his body. After he was revived, his expression became extremely unsightly. Damn it! I will definitely take revenge. He ran away again. However, the azure dragon seal. Once again, it came over. The 9-headed dragon screamed crazily. Lin Xian sneered. You want to beg me? I'll give you a chance. The 9-headed dragon gritted its teeth. I'm a peerless genius. I'm usually high and mighty. How could I beg for mercy? However, he only had 2 lives. The other party could completely destroy him in 2 moves. In order to save his life, he could only grit his teeth and kneel on the ground. Please let me go. I will never go against you again. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian threw his head back and laughed. His eyes shone with a terrifying light as he looked up at the sky. Did you see that? The peerless geniuses of the myriad demon city that you have groomed are now kneeling before my feet. I wonder how you feel about that. The people outside were all stupefied. The 9-headed spirit was actually kneeling and begging for mercy. This was truly out of their expectations. Furthermore, Lin Xian's unrestrained provocation shocked them even more. The greater demons of the myriad demon city roared madly. They were originally ferocious demonic beasts. Usually, they were the ones who suppressed others. No one had ever dared to provoke them. However, at this moment, they were being crazily slapped in the face. Even their most outstanding disciple was kneeling at the feet of that person. Damn it! Those elders were so angry that they almost vomited blood. The flying sky Saint King's eyes exploded with a terrifying saber light that pierced through everything, causing the surrounding sky and earth to shatter. The 9-headed Qilin was also roaring crazily inside. Who are you? Who are you? Why are you targeting our myriad demon city? He really doesn't understand. Lin Xian sneered. You people from the demon city use your power to bully others. Do you think you can bully others just because you have the upper hand? Today, I'll let you have a taste of being bullied. I'm here for revenge. As he spoke, Lin Xian struck out with his soul-suppressing technique. The terrifying black stone tablet descended, suppressing the 9-headed Qilin completely. Lin Xian struck out with a dragon-shaped sword qi that entered the 9-headed Qilin's body, sealing him completely. The 9-headed Qilin felt his strength disappearing and was terrified. What are you trying to do? I've already kneeled and begged for mercy. Lin Xian sneered. Don't worry, I won't kill you now. Because you're still useful, I'll give you a big gift. With a wave of his hand, he kept the 9-headed Qilin. The spectators outside were stunned. The other party didn't make a move immediately. This was truly shocking. But thinking about it, they knew that the 9-headed Qilin was probably feeling worse than death right now. They didn't know what the other party was planning. As for the people of the myriad demon city, they were discussing fervently. The other party was here for revenge. Who was this person? They had offended quite a number of people due to their usual arrogance. But so what? There shouldn't be anyone who could go against them. The soaring sky god king's face was dark as well. He was thinking about who this person was. Suddenly, he thought of someone, but he quickly shook his head. Impossible. That lad was poisoned by the yellow spring diagram. He shouldn't be alive. And even if he was alive, he shouldn't be so strong. Therefore, he had no idea who this person was. Lin Xian left after suppressing the 9-headed Qilin. He didn't kill the other party, because he was going to use the 9-headed Qilin to threaten the myriad demon city. Who knew? It might be useful. But for now, he should meet up with the people of Peerless City. He continued to activate the ancient mirror above his head to search. In other places, the other people were doing the same. They were searching for the other party and fighting for the token. In the vast mountains, for streaks of lightning flashed and turned into 4 figures. They were the 4 experts of Lei Xincheng. At this moment, they were looking at a figure by the waterfall in front of them, and the corners of their mouths curled up into a smile. Someone was there. And it was a lone person. They directly rushed over and fought in all four directions, completely surrounding that person. Looking at the other party's appearance, they should be from Peerless City. A cold smile appeared on their faces. There was enmity between them and Peerless City. So, did they see the people from Peerless City? Kneel at our feet obediently and accept our judgment. We can leave you with an intact corpse. In front of them, a young man was sitting on a rock under the waterfall. He was fishing with a fishing rod in his hands. Looking at the four figures, he raised his head and frowned. People of Lei Shun City, you scared my fish away. Scram. Otherwise, die. A cold voice echoed between heaven and earth. The four people of Lei Shan Chung were stunned. Then, they sneered in disdain. What did this lad say? Tell us to scram? And he said he wanted us to die? Ha ha ha. Who did he think he was? If you were Fu Hongye or Linghu Chueshue, we would leave immediately. But you're not. How dare you be so arrogant in front of us? Seems like you're tired of living. Some people were always so reckless. The young man rose to his feet. The fishing rod in his hand was still swaying gently. A low and deep voice was heard. 1,000 mountains, absolute flight. As the voice sounded, the surrounding scene changed. Thousands of illusions of mountains appeared around the waterfall and blocked their path. At the same time, some piercing rays of light tore through the void, shattering the entire void. Puff, puff. In the blink of an eye, the four sacred venerables of Lei Shen City were pierced through thousands of times by those black shadows. Blood dyed the sky red. Chapter 42-41. In just an instant, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The bodies of the four people also turned into a bloody mist. How could this be? The four of them roared in horror. What happened just now? Wasn't the opponent's divine ability too terrifying? Since you've disturbed my fishing, then you'll become my fish. The young man's eyes once again burst out with a terrifying light. Not good. This is a hidden expert. Run, the four sacred venerables from Thunder God City. Just as they were about to turn and run, a cold voice rang out between heaven and earth. 10,000 paths, no trace left. Crack, crack. Time between heaven and earth seemed to have stopped. The four sacred venerables also stopped in their tracks. Then, they shattered like glass. Their souls were directly shattered. They could not believe that the opponent had such a terrifying divine ability. The people who were watching the battle outside were also stunned. Oh my God, who is this person? He could actually kill four experts of the same level so easily. His technique was heaven-defying. He was from Wushuang City. Impossible. Apart from Fu Hongye and Linghu Chueshue, there was no one else in Wushuang City that was so terrifying. The people of Lei Shan Chung had ugly expressions on their faces as they started to discuss among themselves. Damn it, they had lost four experts in an instant. They raised their heads and looked at Wushuang City. They were not the only ones. Everyone looked over. Wushuang Sage's lips curled into a smile. Did these people think that he did not have any trump cards? What a joke. Wushuang City did not send any hunters before this. It was not that they were not strong enough, but that some people needed to use them at a critical moment. For example, the strength of the second stage was enough to shock these people. In front of the waterfall, the young man killed four sacred venerables of the same level as him. It seemed like he had done something insignificant. He also raised his head and looked at the sky. It was as if he could see through the void. I am Wushuang Sage's third disciple, Lu Yuan. His voice spread in all directions. The spectators' pupils shrank. Wushuang Sage's personal disciple. They did not expect that apart from Linghu Chueshue and Fu Hongye, there was actually such a terrifying disciple. They wondered if Wushuang City had any other trump cards. Everyone was shocked. In fact, it was not only Wushuang City. Some powerful geniuses had also appeared in other sacred cities. For example, apart from Wan Jiani, there was another person with terrifying strength in the Myriad Swords Pavilion. Lu Xuanqing. He was a secret genius nurtured by the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. Now, he had revealed his talent. At this moment, he was facing three holy venerates. With a single sword strike, he caused the three holy venerates to retreat. The three Saint Venerables knew that they were no match for him, so they took out their tokens to save their lives. Get lost. Lu Xuanxin waved his hand, and three tokens floated in the air and flew toward him. A smile appeared on his face. This time, he was going to let the heavenly smiting myriad worlds know how powerful it was. The three Saint Venerables retreated, their faces pale. To be honest, they were unwilling to accept it, but what could they do? The other party's strength was far above theirs. They couldn't withstand that sword strike. If there were a few more sword strikes, their souls would probably be destroyed. Truly terrifying. Who would have thought that aside from Wang Jiani, there was actually such a terrifying expert? Just as the token was about to fly into Lu Xuanxin's hand, the situation suddenly changed. Between heaven and earth, a horrifying sound wave rang out, causing the heavens to crumble and the earth to crack. In the distance, the three Saint Venerables who had yet to retreat felt an intense impact on their souls. It was as if their souls were about to split apart. What a terrifying voice. Who was it? They came back to their senses and looked into the distance, only to see Lu Xuanxin roaring. Sword chi erupted from her body and shrouded her body like a ray of sunlight. At the same time, he sneered, "Who dares to attack me?" No figure appeared between heaven and earth, but the sound wave was even more terrifying. Lu Xuanxin snorted coldly, "You don't know what's good for you." As soon as he finished speaking, he drew his sword. The sword hummed, and dazzling sword light appeared, crisscrossing. It swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands, completely sealing off the entire space. With one sword strike, heaven and earth were destroyed. Finally, the sound wave disappeared. A figure walked out of the cave. "You can actually block my sound wave." Interesting. That person was half human and half demon. He was extremely terrifying. After the three Saint Venerables saw the sword Dao, their pupils shrank. They didn't expect it to be the Azure Skyrock. This was an extremely terrifying expert. They didn't know if this genius of the Myriad Swords Pavilion could resist those people outside. Seeing this scene, they were also surprised and started discussing. In the space, Lu Xuanxin narrowed her eyes when she saw the other party. She sneered. "I was wondering who it was. So it's a demonic beast. A mere demonic beast dares to be arrogant in front of me? Kneel down and accept your death." Along with her voice, the entire space was pierced through by sword chi. The terrifying sword chi seemed to want to tear the 9 heavens and 10 lands apart. The Azure Skyrock was originally disdainful, but when he saw the terrifying sword chi, his pupils shrank. "I didn't expect you to be able to learn the mysterious heaven sword formation. No wonder you're so arrogant." The Azure Skyrock was indeed shocked. The mysterious heaven sword formation was a very terrifying sword formation in the Myriad Swords Pavilion. It was very difficult to learn. It was said that even the Myriad Swords Pavilion couldn't learn it. He didn't expect the person in front of him to have learned it. It had been 3,000 years since it appeared. Now that it was done, it was truly terrifying. "I didn't expect you to be a sword genius. Since that's the case, then forget it. I don't need to fight with you. I'm pressed for time." With that, a pair of terrifying wings appeared on the Azure Skyrock's back. He spread his wings and was about to fly away. Now wasn't the time to fight. However, Lu Xuanxin sneered. "You think you can come and go as you please? Once my sword formation is out, I'll use you as a sacrifice." At this point, the terrifying sword chi in the surroundings began to buzz. One after another, sword images appeared between heaven and earth. They were like divine swords that could split the heavens apart. The sword chi that filled the sky slashed down. The Azure Skyrock's expression sank. He didn't expect the other party to be so arrogant. "Very well, then I'll see if the mysterious heaven sword formation is as powerful as the legends say." With a roar, he charged over with the sky on his back. A blue sky diagram formed on his back. It was abnormally terrifying. It was said that the Azure Skyrock could carry the sky on his back. One could imagine how terrifying it was. The battle between the two shook heaven and earth. One was a terrifying mutated beast, while the other was using a lost technique, the mysterious heaven sword formation. The power of the two was unparalleled. The three holy sovereigns in the distance were instantly sent flying. They looked at the scene in the distance with pale faces. Fortunately, they had handed over their tokens earlier. Otherwise, they would have been killed long ago. The spectators outside were also shocked. They didn't expect there to be a hidden genius in the second stage. In the first stage, they already knew about some experts. They originally thought that the second stage would be a battle between them. They didn't expect that the people in the second stage would be even more terrifying. Whether it was the Azure Sky Rock or Lu Xuanxin, they were all extremely terrifying. However, some people frowned. The mysterious Heaven Sword formation was indeed extraordinary. The Azure Sky Rock was probably in danger. No way, right? The Azure Sky Rock's diagram couldn't suppress the sword chi? Some people didn't dare to believe it. Chapter 42:42. Not long after, the blue sky diagram shattered and was torn apart by the sword chi. The Azure Sky Rock's body was also pierced by the sword chi, and blood splattered out. Countless people exclaimed in shock. Lu Xuanxin sneered, "You're nothing much." With a roar, the Black Heaven Sword formation became even more terrifying. Sword chi danced in the air, trying to tear the Azure Sky Rock apart. Roar. An earth-shattering roar sounded. The Azure Sky Rock transformed into its true form and launched a peerless attack. It tore apart a corner of the sword formation and quickly fled. However, it was very miserable. Half of its wing was cut open. Blood flowed and dyed his enormous body red. Fortunately, it was talented. It activated its bloodline and directly merged with the sky, disappearing. The spectators were shocked. Defeated. The incomparably terrifying Azure Sky Rock was actually defeated. Is this the legendary Black Heaven Sword formation? It's too terrifying. Did you run away? I'll definitely kill you next time. Lu Xuanxin snorted coldly, retracted the sword formation, and flew into the distance. Suddenly, she saw a terrifying sword light cutting through the void in the distance. It's senior brother Juan. She was overjoyed and couldn't help but speed up. Soon, she saw a few figures standing in front of her. One of them had an aura that was even stronger than hers. It was Wan Jiani. Senior brother Wan, Lu Xuanxin called out. The people in front turned their heads. Wan Jiani also smiled. Junior sister Lu. He waved his hand. Lu Xuanxin flew over. The two sides met up, and the people around them praised. Senior brother Wan and senior sister Lu are unparalleled when they join forces. No one can fight against us. The group of people attacked aggressively, and no one dared to stop them. They collected the tokens very quickly, and in the end, they only wanted to eliminate the enemies. Finally, they saw a figure in front of them. One of them slashed at the sky with sword chi, but the other party dodged it. They were surprised that the other party could dodge it. No one could block it before. They knelt and begged for mercy, but the other party didn't seem to be like that. Interesting. I've finally met an interesting opponent. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion smiled. Lin Xian frowned. Although he had the ancient mirror, there weren't many people from Wushuang City. There were only 11 of them, so it was more troublesome to gather. However, he did not expect to run into people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. When the 10,000 Swords Pavilion sent out a sword chi, he instantly dodged it. In the next moment, he was surrounded by 10,000 Swords Pavilion's people. Lin Xian's eyes glinted coldly. You want to fight? He ignored the others and stared at Wan Jiani. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were also stunned. They didn't expect it to be the other party. They were greatly surprised. They knew about Lin Xian. After all, the sword fanatic had caused a ruckus and eliminated many experts. Wan Jiani's eyes also emitted a biting cold killing intent. Although he didn't know the other party was very threatening. It was better to get rid of such a potential enemy as soon as possible. The people who were watching the battle outside were stunned once again. Then, they burst into exclamations. They did not expect that the two great powerhouses would meet so quickly. No matter if it was the sword maniac or Wan Jiani, they were both extremely terrifying. Besides, there was also Lu Xuanxin, who had made a name for herself. When the two sides met, an unparalleled battle would definitely erupt. Some people from the sacred city let out a cold smile. Great. This kid is definitely dead. Indeed, Lin Xian was alone, while the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had many people, not to mention 2 sword experts. In a one-on-one battle, who would be stronger, him or Wang Jiani? Some people started to discuss. The elder from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion sneered. How could he be a match for Wang Jiani? He couldn't even defeat Lu Xuanxin. That's right. Who does he think he is? He will definitely die when he meets the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. The elder from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion was very confident. Lu Xuanxin also narrowed her eyes and looked at the person in front of her. She also sneered. You must be the sword fanatic. You were so arrogant before and even dared to attack the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. Now, how are you going to die? Lin Xian glanced at her and said coldly, Who do you think you are? Do you have the right to speak here? Get lost. Let Wang Jiani talk to me. Lin Xian didn't care about the other party at all. In his opinion, only Wang Jiani was worthy of his attention. Lu Xuanxin's face sank completely. He dared to look down on her. Unforgivable. An unparalleled aura exploded from her body. Kid, you dare to provoke me? Senior brother Wan doesn't need to do anything. I can deal with you. As she spoke, she strode forward. With every step she took, countless sword chi formed under her feet. After 5 steps, the sword aura that filled the air sealed the entire space, completely shrouding Lin Xian. It was about to start. Everyone was excited. They didn't expect Lu Xuanxin to make a move so soon. Lin Xian also revealed a look of surprise when he sensed the sword chi. His strength is not bad. He looked at her again and said indifferently, Tell me your name. I don't kill nameless people. My name is Lu Xuanxin. Remember that I will be your nightmare for life. Lu Xuanxin shouted angrily and endless sword chi exploded. How dare you go against our senior sister Lu? You are courting death. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion sneered behind her. Wang Jiani didn't make a move. In his opinion, Lu Xuanxin was enough to kill her opponent. Lin Xian struck out with the blue dragon seal. A dragon's roar was heard between heaven and earth. A huge dragon danced quickly and collided with the terrifying sword chi. The sound of the heaven-shaking squad was heard like a comet colliding. The sword chi was all sent flying. However, even the shadow of the blue dragon was penetrated. One could imagine how terrifying Lu Xuanxin's sword chi was. Kill. The sword chi turned into seawater and surged in all directions. Lu Xuanxin's face was gloomy. She wanted to kill her opponent as soon as possible. Lin Xian was also surprised that his opponent was able to block his blue dragon seal. He was really surprised. Interesting. He struck out with the blue dragon 9 palms again. Terrifying power exploded. Every palm had the power to destroy heaven and earth. Both sides were evenly matched. Interesting. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion behind him were all shocked. They knew how terrifying Lu Xuanxin's strength was. Her simple attacks could instantly kill a sacred venerable of the same level. However, her 2 strikes couldn't do anything to her opponent. The people watching the battle outside were also surprised. This sword maniac was indeed strong. They wondered who would win this battle. The situation seemed to be getting more and more confusing. Lu Xuanxin gritted her teeth. Her opponent's strength was beyond her imagination. Lin Xian said, Your name is Lu Xuanxin, right? I will remember it. You are worthy of my full strength. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion didn't believe that Lu Xuanxin didn't use her full strength. Lu Xuanxin snorted coldly. Don't be so arrogant. I didn't use my full strength just now. Now, I will let you see my ultimate skill. As she said that, she formed a seal with her palms. Countless sword chi flew out and formed a sword formation around her. Kid, I will let you see the power of the Shintian sword formation. Chapter 42-43. They could feel the power of the sword formation. Lin Xian was also very surprised. He felt a sense of danger, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He had never seen this kind of formation from the other saints of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion before. In fact, he didn't know that this formation had been around for 3,000 years, and no one had been able to master it. Lu Xuanxin was the first. When the 10,000 Swords Pavilion saw this scene, a hint of envy and jealousy appeared in their eyes. This showed how powerful Lu Xuanxin's talent in swordsmanship was. Lu Xuanxin roared. Suddenly, the Black Heaven sword formation began to rotate, transforming into thousands of sword chi that charged forward. The world shattered, and terrifying laws rushed into the sky, accompanied by a shocking, killing intent. Everyone was stunned, and the people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion also clenched their fists. The fist was too powerful. The sword maniac would definitely die. Lin Xian took a step forward and waved the Tiger Demon Fist to resist. He used the Army Destroyer, Sky Shattering, and Formation Spirit one after another. Then, the fourth divine ability appeared. Demonic Transformation. The roar of a tiger sounded between heaven and earth, and the demonic clouds churned with an extremely terrifying aura. The two divine abilities collided between heaven and earth. Lu Xuanxin's palms kept forming seals, and the Black Heaven sword formation changed, forming millions of sword god phantoms that quickly charged out. They tore the Tiger Demon Fist apart. Lin Xian used the laws of wind and thunder. Countless storms on his left formed a wind sword that bloomed with incomparable light. On his right, an ice and thunder sword formed with a destructive aura. The wind and thunder swords slashed forward. They collided with the phantoms. At the same time, Lin Xian also formed seals with his palms. He used the laws of the 5 elements to form the 5 elements sword formation. Boom! At this moment, his sword intent erupted, and a terrifying sword light cut through the void, forcing all the millions of sword god phantoms to retreat. The people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were stunned. The spectators outside also sucked in a breath of cold air. The sword maniac was indeed a top swordsman. Under the nervous gaze of everyone, Lu Xuanxin's Black Heaven sword formation changed again. It turned into a sword shadow that reached the heavens and slashed down, breaking apart the wind and thunder sword and the 5-element sword. Even Lin Xian was surprised. His figure flashed as he used the wind, shakes the 9 heavens, and quickly dodged. At the same time, he said, "Your swordsmanship is much stronger than I imagined. No wonder you dared to stand against me. However, it is still impossible for him to defeat me." Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. In the next moment, an astonishing sword intent burst forth. Obviously, he was going to go all out. Hearing this, Lu Xuanxin was shocked. Did the other party want to die? However, when she felt the sword intent, her expression changed. How was that possible? Could it be that he hadn't used his full strength before? She was completely enraged. She formed a seal, and the mysterious heaven sword formation erupted with a violent force. It swept out. One sword shadow after another formed between heaven and earth. The power formed by the combination of these sword formations was incomparably mysterious. First slash of the Black Heaven. The giant sword that reached the heavens was held by a hand. Then, it slashed down crazily, as if a god was really angry. The power of the mysterious heaven sword formation was terrifying again. Probably not many sacred venerables could withstand it. Only the older generation could withstand it head-on. When the spectators saw this scene, they immediately exclaimed. Indeed, Wang Jianyi's nerves were also tense. To be honest, he felt threatened now. Lu Xuanxin was younger than him. If she was allowed to grow for another 100 or 200 years in the future, she might really surpass him. This shocked him greatly. Could its power still be increased? Lin Xian was surprised. He saw that Lu Xuanxin had already activated the Sect Convergence Sword. It was obvious that she had strengthened the power of the formation. Thinking of this, he also waved his hand, and a biting cold aura burst out. A flying sword appeared in his hand, which turned into tens of thousands of sword chi and rotated crazily around him. Sword kinesis technique. At this moment, as he moved, all the sword chi began to tremble violently. At the same time, a low dragon roar sounded from within his body. Those sword chis seemed to have transformed into huge dragons that suddenly roared towards the sky. The terrifying power caused the entire space to tremble violently. At this moment, even the people in the distance looked up. There were peerless experts fighting. Go quickly. They were scattered all over the world, but at this moment, they were gathering in the same place. What a terrifying sword chi. What a terrifying power. Lu Xuanxin was also surprised. To be honest, other than Wang Jiani, she didn't care about anyone else. She didn't expect this sword maniac to be such a threat to her. So what? She was extremely confident in the mysterious heaven sword formation. This was a sword technique that no one except her had mastered. With a roar, a flash of light appeared in her eyes. Then, the giant sword slashed down crazily. Boom! A gigantic sword clashed with countless terrifying sword shadows. Then, tens of thousands of thunderous roars erupted. The world completely shattered, and the surrounding people of the myriad sword pavilion kept retreating. They couldn't withstand this power at all. On a mountain peak in the distance, the azure sky rock's eyes were filled with shock. This was the aura of the mysterious heaven sword formation. Who was fighting with the other party? He had experienced the power of the mysterious heaven sword formation before. Even he couldn't withstand it. Now, an even more terrifying swordsman had appeared. Thinking of this, he quickly retreated. The mountain peak that he was originally standing on also cracked. Crack, crack, crack. In the sky, countless cracks appeared on the heaven-reaching sword, like a spider web on one side. Then, with a cracking sound, the sword light turned into countless laws and scattered in the sky. The heavenly sword shadow was directly shattered. Countless people were shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian's sword technique to be so powerful. How was this possible? The elders of the myriad sword pavilion were all stunned. That was the mysterious heaven sword formation. How could anyone break it? Lu Xuanxin kept retreating, and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Her face was full of shock. She couldn't believe that it was the mysterious heaven sword formation. It was her most powerful ability. But now, it had been shattered. Damn it, what kind of sword technique is this guy using? Why is his sword intent so powerful? At this moment, he felt like he was in a dream, and he roared like crazy. Buzz! Lin Xian waved his hand, and countless sword chi descended again, sending Lu Xuanxin flying. Then, he said, "You're no match for me. However, your strength is not bad. Judging from your talent in the sword Dao, you might even be above the myriad sword Dao. Why don't you submit to me?" To be honest, Lin Xian was also surprised, although the other party was inferior to him. However, the other party was so young and beautiful, yet she had mastered such a supreme technique. It really shocked him. He could tell that this sword technique was very terrifying. Perhaps not even the myriad sword Dao knew it. Otherwise, the other party would have already used it during the battle. With such talent in the sword Dao, he also had a heart of appreciation. Submit to you? Lu Xuanxin was so angry that she almost vomited blood. Was the other party older than her? What kind of joke was this? She was a top genius, and she felt that the other party was slapping her in the face. Chapter 42-44. Kid, don't be too arrogant. Kill me if you can. Lu Xuanxin gritted her teeth and said. Lin Xian shook his head. Your sword will be even stronger in my hands. The people from Wanjian Pavilion went crazy when they heard that. Even the saint ruler of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had an ugly expression on his face. What a load of nonsense. Wan Jiani rushed up with a murderous aura. He said, Junior sister, don't listen to him. He wants to destroy your cultivation. This guy is too despicable. Let's kill him together. Join forces? Lu Xuanxin was stunned. The spectators were also shocked. No way. Wan Jiani came in. Is he not confident? To be honest, Wan Jiani's face turned cold when he saw Lin Xian's strength. He was confident. However, it was very troublesome. He might even be able to defeat him. However, he might not be able to kill him. He had to get rid of such a person as soon as possible. Therefore, he decided to join forces with Lu Xuanxin. This guy is too despicable. We can definitely kill him if we join forces. However, Lu Xuanxin hesitated. Although she was arrogant, she had never thought of joining forces with others. In her opinion, geniuses would not bother to join forces with others. Unless it was a team battle. She really didn't want to fight two against one like now, so she said. Before she could finish, Wang Jinyi said, "No buts. If I let this guy go, there will be endless trouble." In order to survive, she had to kill him. How shameless! Lin Xian sneered after hearing that. This Wang Jinyi is indeed ruthless. Now he wants to join forces to kill me. Wang Jinyi, are you not even qualified to fight me one-on-one? How dare you call yourself a sword genius? In less than 3 years, you will be surpassed by this junior sister of yours. Kid, no matter what you say, you won't be able to escape death today. Wang Jinyi pulled out his sword. He activated 10,000 swords, and an extremely terrifying aura burst out. This power was even more terrifying than Lu Xuanxin's. Lu Xuanxin did not make a move, but the 6 experts from Wang Jinyi pulled out their swords and fought in 6 directions. They obeyed Wang Jinyi and would not let Lin Xian escape. Lin Xian's face darkened. Since the other party wanted to die, he would fulfill their wish. Although he was in a very dangerous situation now, facing 2 top-notch experts and 6 experts from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion, he was still in a very dangerous situation. However, he was still not afraid. At most, he would use his trump card to reveal his identity to everyone. When he thought of this, his eyes lit up. A terrifying sword in tint appeared on his body. It soared straight into the clouds. From the looks of it, Lin Xian was also about to make a move. However, at this moment, a voice rang out from the sky. Bullying with numbers. Do you really think that there's no one left in Wushuang City? The faces of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion members changed. Even Lin Xian was stunned. The people from Peerless City had arrived. Who was it? Was it senior brother Fu or senior brother Linghu? He raised his head and saw that it wasn't her. Instead, it was a man in green who descended from the sky. His face was unfamiliar. However, Lin Xian knew that this was one of the senior brothers of Peerless City. When Wang Jinyi saw that it wasn't Fu Hongye, he sneered. Just anyone dared to come and seek death. Kill him. As his voice fell, the 6 experts erupted with terrifying sword chi and charged towards the other party. Not good. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He didn't know the strength of this green-robed youth. The green-robed youth's gaze was calm as he said coldly, "Thousands of mountains, flying away." Countless mountain peaks appeared between heaven and earth, enveloping the 6 sword saints. Then, black phantoms flew out from the mountain peaks. They were like sharp blades, covering the sky and earth. There were at least 10 million of them. In an instant, the 6 sword saints retreated. Countless bloody holes appeared on their bodies. Blood dyed their bodies red. In the blink of an eye, they were seriously injured. So powerful. Everyone's pupils constricted. Even Wang Jinyi was stunned. Lin Xian was the same. He took a deep breath. What a terrifying supernatural power. It seemed that this person should be a top-notch genius. Who are you? Wang Jinyi gritted his teeth and asked. He didn't expect Peerless City to have such an expert other than Linghu Chuexue and Fu Hongye. I'm Lu Yuan, the 3rd disciple of Peerless Saint King. Wang Jinyi, you're a top-notch genius on the pilgrim list. How can you be so despicable now? You want to fight me with numbers? You can try now. Lu Yuan stepped in the air, and an extremely terrifying aura erupted from his body. Wang Jinyi's expression was very ugly. They originally had an absolute advantage. However, Lu Yuan's appearance directly injured the 6 sword saints, causing them to lose their advantage in an instant. It was just Lu Yuan. If they really fought, Wang Jinyi wasn't afraid at all. However, in the next moment, his expression became extremely ugly. Because at this moment, another ethereal voice sounded. Oh, is someone bullying Peerless City? As soon as this voice was heard, everyone's soul trembled violently. They felt as if their souls were about to split open. Even Lin Xian took a deep breath. What a terrifying soul expert. Moreover, it was someone from Peerless City. Everyone looked up and saw a woman walking over in the sky. She was wearing a black dress, like a flower that bloomed in the netherworld. Her hair was snow white. The two contrasting colors on his body were incomparably strange. Her eyes were black and white, as if they were yin and yang. Her appearance caused the entire world to become oppressive. Who was this person? Everyone was shocked, and so were the elders of the sacred city who were watching from the outside. Did Peerless City have another top-notch genius? Impossible. How could there be so many geniuses? Who are you? Wan Jiani gritted his teeth and asked. He felt that the cultivation of the other party was ordinary, but her eyes were too terrifying. That was an eye technique, and her soul was extremely powerful. It was a great threat to him. I am the sixth disciple of Peerless Sage King, Urua. The mysterious woman's voice sounded between heaven and earth, and countless people took a deep breath. Another personal disciple. How many disciples did Peerless Sage King take in? The people of Wan Jiani Pavilion had ugly expressions. The people of Acheron Hall and Great Desolation Mansion also looked gloomy. Damn it, they were too careless. They had underestimated Peerless City. They didn't expect Peerless City to have so many hidden geniuses. Urua stood in the void and said coldly, Wan Jiani, you said that you wanted to fight as a team. All right, let's start now. As she spoke, an extremely powerful soul storm swept over. Wan Jiani roared and activated Wan Jiani's body to defend himself. Lu Xuanxin also used the Black Heaven Sword technique to cover her body. The 6 injured sword saints also wanted to defend themselves. But soon, their glabella cracked and their souls were destroyed. Are they dead? Wan Jiani gritted his teeth in disbelief. His opponent's soul was so powerful. The people outside were also stunned. This person's soul was probably at the middle stage of the Saint Venerable realm. Lin Xian was also shocked. Isn't this too powerful? Even his heavenly secret divine eyes felt a pressure. He didn't know what kind of eye technique the other party cultivated. His senior brother had taken in so many geniuses? He didn't know about it before. That's right, a team competition? Lu Yuan also laughed. Looks like we haven't fought for a long time. It's time to let them know how powerful we are. Wan Jiani was furious. What kind of joke was this? He wanted to fight as a team because they had the advantage. But now, the other party had more experts than them. If they wanted to fight as a team, it would be very disadvantageous. So he snorted and stared at Lin Xian. Kid, didn't you want to fight one-on-one? I'll give you a chance. Come on. Chapter 42-45. You're really shameless. You wanted to fight a group battle because you had the advantage in numbers. Now that you have nothing to do, you want to fight one-on-one? Who do you think you are? Lin Xian sneered. The others also discussed spiritedly. This Wan Jiani is really too despicable. Yeah, I used to think that he was a proud swordsman, but I didn't expect him to be so sinister. Hearing this, the people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had ugly expressions, but they didn't say anything, because what Wan Jiani did now was the wisest. Wan Jiani also snorted coldly. He didn't care about anything, whether it was despicable or shameless, as long as he could win. So he said, How do I know you don't dare to? Trying to goad me? Lin Xian laughed. Very good. I'll fall for that. I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian walked out, causing countless people to be stunned. This sword maniac's brain must be damaged. He actually wants to fight one-on-one at this time. He's too arrogant. Even Lu Yuan and Urua were stunned. However, when they saw the confident smile on Lin Xian's face, they didn't say anything. Lin Xian walked out. He looked at Lu Xuanxin. I'll let you see how the top swordsman of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion will be defeated by me. At that time, I hope you'll submit to me. Damn it, don't be arrogant. Senior brother Wan will definitely not lose. Lu Xuanxin gritted his teeth. Lin Xian smiled. Oh, is that so? Since you're so confident, do you dare to make a bet with me? If I lose, I'll let you do whatever you want. But if he loses, you'll submit to me. As soon as these words came out, the people watching the battle outside were stunned. This sword maniac didn't seem to be joking. Could it be that he's serious? What kind of joke is this? He's too arrogant. If it was a sacred king who did this, everyone would naturally be willing. But a young man, and a small saint at that, seemed to be joking no matter how they looked at it. Yurua was also stunned. Black and white light bloomed in her eyes, enveloping Lu Xuanxin. The next moment, she revealed a look of surprise. Could it be that he has the body of a sword spirit? The body of a sword spirit? Lu Yuan was also stunned. Many people were in an uproar. This can't be. This is also a terrifying body in the universe. Who would have thought that the 10,000 Swords Pavilion would actually find it? The people of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion did not say a word. They were gritting their teeth so hard that they were about to break. Damn it. Not only did he get slapped in the face, his secret was also exposed. Lu Xin was indeed a sword spirit in her heart, which was also a rare physique. Moreover, his achievements in the Sword Dao were extremely terrifying. His future achievements would definitely be above that of a Saint King, so he was worth nurturing. Originally, they had planned to keep this a secret. After all, if the secret was leaked, they would definitely be targeted by the other holy cities. However, he didn't expect Yurua to see through it. Junior sister, don't worry. This brat is definitely not my match. Wan Jinny walked out and said, Kid, do you dare to swear on your Dao heart? Let's fight one-on-one. No one is allowed to help us. Why wouldn't he dare? Lin Xian sneered. He had long wanted to have a battle of swordsmanship with his opponent. Now was the perfect opportunity. Buzz. Lin Xian waved his hand, and a piercingly cold sword chi directly pressed down. His speed was extremely fast. It was also the sword-controlling technique of the sword dragon race. Humph! Wan Jinny snorted and also waved his hand, and a sword chi was also released. The two collided, and the terrifying sword Dao Law swept out in all directions. Countless large cracks continued to spread. Lu Xuanxin quickly retreated. On the other side, Yurua and Lu Yuan also retreated to a distance, silently watching the battle. Lin Xian waved his sword chi, and it turned into battle dragons one after another, flying out. There was a terrifying dragon Dao aura on them. These swords chi could easily pierce through everything. Feeling the danger, Wan Jinny's face darkened, and he sneered. Do you know? The sword in my hand is called the dragon-slaying sword. It's just right to restrain you. The power of the sword burst out, and all the sword shadows were blown away. A terrifying light shot towards Lin Xian's throat. The dragon-slaying sword was Wan Jinny's weapon, and it was a famous sword in the Myriad Sword Pavilion. Legend had it that 8,000 years ago, there was a supreme sword saint in the Myriad Sword Pavilion who wielded this sword. He killed 9 supreme dragon race experts and became famous in the starry sky. Therefore, this sword was named the dragon-slaying sword. Later, it was passed down to Wan Jinny, and when he used it now, it was also incomparably terrifying. Seeing this scene, the people of the 3 dragon races also looked gloomy. Although the dragon race experts that were killed were not from their races, they were still from the dragon race after all. The other party used their blood to make a name for himself, so naturally, they were unhappy. Therefore, many people gritted their teeth, hoping that Lin Xian could win. Sword-controlling technique, 8 Dragons' Fury. Lin Xian waved his hand, and 8 shadows of swords appeared under his palm. They were abnormally terrifying. The 8 sword shadows kept vibrating, and an extremely terrifying dragon roar was released, along with his breathing technique. It was earth-shattering. The sword chi of the opponent's dragon-slaying sword was also shattered. Wan Jinny's pupil shrank, and he could only withdraw his sword and defend himself. He kept retreating, and the surrounding void turned into a black hole. What a terrifying sword! Lu Xuanxin was shocked when she saw this scene. Wan Jinny was forced to retreat, and his face turned ugly. Then, he quickly attacked. The two of them exchanged blows, and it was like 2 divine swords colliding non-stop. Every strike had the power to destroy the world. Divine sword controlling thunder. Wan Jinny was in harmony, and the sword chi was waved. Above the 9 heavens, dark clouds condensed, and lightning descended. It merged with the sword chi, forming a terrifying and destructive aura. It was a shocking scene, and also a top-notch sword technique of the Wanjiani Pavilion. At this moment, it was being used, and it was attacking Lin Xian. Lin Xian's sword chi was wide open, resisting it. He had seen many supernatural powers on Mount Longhu before, and now they were all merged together. The sword chi that was formed was extremely mysterious, and each sword had an unpredictable power. Lin Xian waved 5 sword chi towards the sky in a row, tearing all the lightning apart. At the same time, his body shone brightly, and a sword chi shot out like a divine sword. He immediately charged towards Wanjiani. With a boom, the defense on Wanjiani's body was instantly torn apart, and the sword pierced into his body, leaving a sword mark. Dragon Battle Armor. It was the armor formed by Wanjiani's dragon-slaying sword chi, and it was extremely powerful. Even holy venerables of the same level couldn't tear it apart, but at this moment, he was roaring crazily. The laws of the sword on it kept flowing. His armor also made the sound of glass shattering, and his face was full of shock. He couldn't believe it. Lu Xuanqin sucked in a cold breath. Wanjiani was actually injured. It was too unbelievable. Countless people outside exclaimed, and Wanjiani roared angrily. Get lost. A terrifying sword in tint burst out, and Lin Xian's battle sword was directly shattered. Then, he used the 10,000 swords convergence, and his body shone brightly, healing his wound. With a roar, he streaked across the sky, and with the dragon-slaying sword in his hand, he charged over. Accompanying it were tens of thousands of lightning bolts. Buzz! Lin Xian wasn't afraid at all, and he shot out flying swords that filled the sky to resist it. The intense collision between the two was like fireworks in the sky. What followed was the sound of countless thunderous roars. At this moment, those who came from afar also stopped in their tracks. They even retreated again, because there was no way to go forward. This battle was really too terrifying. The people of the Wanjiani Pavilion couldn't believe it. It was simply too powerful, but Wanjiani was even more terrifying. Especially Wanjiani, who was now a sword saint, and his strength was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian was just a small saint, and with such a gap in cultivation, they were evenly matched. They couldn't believe it when they were evenly matched. Buzz! Suddenly, a sword chi tore everything apart and charged towards Lin Xian's throat. It was an edgeless sword. This sword chi was silent, and it carried a biting cold killing intent. Chapter 42-46. Seeing this strange sword, Yu Ruo and Lu Yuan's hearts tightened. Lin Xian was expressionless. He was ready to use all kinds of strange techniques. Therefore, when he saw this scene, he opened his mouth and spat out a sword light. It was a silent sword. Then, he opened and closed it, charging forward. Imperial Thunder Sword. 10,000 swords wielded lightning to contend against it. However, after 10 moves, he retreated again. His all-returning swords was almost repelled by the other party. How was this possible? He was shocked that the other party could find his weakness. Lin Xian sneered. He had cultivated the all-returning swords before, so he naturally knew where the weakness was. At this moment, he attacked again. Imperial Sword Technique. Roar of the 8 Dragons. Another terrifying sword sound was heard. At the same time, Lin Xian waved his long sword again. 8 Swords of the Sea Dragon. This was also a peerless sword technique. The sea water between heaven and earth surged, and the sound of dragons was heard. This sword technique was extremely vast, and it came with the power of heaven and earth. Wanjiani's all-returning swords was extremely powerful. He blocked the terrifying sword. At the same time, he attacked the 8 Swords of the Sea Dragon. At this moment, his sword technique kept hitting the waves, but it was like a stone sinking into the sea. He couldn't make any waves at all. The 8 sea dragons stirred up heaven and earth, as if the whole world had turned into an ocean. The Water Child sword technique and the sword law kept surging. The combination of the two completely suppressed the Imperial Thunder Sword. Especially under the dragon breathing technique, the 8 sea dragons seemed to have come alive. They roared at the sky, and their power increased. Every attack was powerful enough to overturn the sea. In the end, all the lightning was completely drowned. Wan Jinny's expression changed. He quickly retreated and didn't use the Imperial Thunder Sword again. How about it? You're no match for me. Lin Xian snorted. Lu Xuanxin was completely stunned. She didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. Wan Jinny's expression was extremely gloomy. He gritted his teeth and said, "Kid, don't be arrogant. I'll show you my ultimate technique." As he spoke, he waved his hand, and countless sword chi flew out, forming a sword formation that covered heaven and earth again. Is senior brother Wan going to use the eightfold sword formation? Lu Xian was shocked and quickly retreated. Lin Xian also frowned. He also felt that the aura around him had become terrifying once again. It was even more terrifying than the mysterious heaven sword formation. Firstly, the formation that Wan Jinny was using was called the eight-phase sword formation. It was also a terrifying sword formation. Moreover, Wan Jinny's strength was above Lu Xuanxin's, so his power was even more terrifying than before. Eightfold sword formation: heaven, earth, water, fire, thunder, mountain, wind, lake. There were 8 different great Daos in 8 different directions. The great Daos formed from each other were extremely terrifying. At this moment, even Yu Ruo and Lu Yuan had a change in expression. The people watching the battle from outside also exclaimed. Wan Jinny actually knew the eightfold sword formation. It was too terrifying. This guy's talent in the way of the sword was actually so high. The people from Peerless City furrowed their brows when they heard the commotion. "Brat, can you feel the power of my sword art? Next will be your death." Wan Jinny snorted and waved his hand. The eightfold sword formation danced quickly. The sky churned as countless sword lights descended. It was as if the entire sky was hanging down. This was the sword of heaven. Its strength was extremely terrifying. If one was hit by it, they would definitely be crushed into a bloody mist. Lin Xian snorted and attacked with his sword art. At the same time, the ground cracked open. The sword of earth rushed out and combined with heaven and earth, completely sealing Lin Xian. Lin Xian was forced back. His blood and qi churned. Seeing this scene, Wan Jinny laughed. "Kid, do you see this? This is the difference between us. You're not even a sacred venerable. What do you have to fight me?" Lin Xian's eyes lit up. The eightfold sword formation? That was interesting. It seems that you're a little more powerful than I thought. But so what? Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a cold sword light. "Then I'll let you see my sword art." As he spoke, the 5 laws of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth appeared on his body. They surged rapidly. The 5 elements sword formation, 5 types of great Dao sword chi surged around him. Each of them was incomparably sharp. They combined with each other and multiplied endlessly. Sword of fire. Lin Xian attacked with his sword. Monstrous flames flew out and engulfed the 9 heavens. It collided with the other party's sword of heaven. At the same time, he stomped his foot. Endless water laws also surged and formed a sword of water. It turned into a boundless sea and fought against the other party's sword of earth. The two collided. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. This was a clash of different great Daos. At the same time, it was also a clash of different sword formations. The explosive power left everyone dumbstruck. Those who were watching the battle outside exclaimed again. They originally thought that Lin Xian was dead for sure, but they didn't expect that Lin Xian also had a formation. He actually mastered the 5 elements laws and combined them. Some people frowned. This sword maniac was actually so difficult to deal with. Wan Jinny's face was also cold. 5 elements combined? Why did he feel that it was so familiar? If he remembered correctly, there was a detestable kid who knew the 5 elements. He didn't expect to see a similar law today. Could this guy be that brat? A doubt arose in his heart. But soon, he shook his head and denied it. Impossible. That detestable guy had already been attacked by a sage king. He would definitely die. There was no way he could survive. The sky shook and the earth shook. The sound of an intense collision was heard. Lin Xian blocked the other party's attack. Then, he said, Your sword formation isn't that good either. It's my turn now. Sword of water, see. As his voice faded, countless swords of water surged, turning into a monstrous ocean that engulfed the entire area. At this moment, the boundless land was completely covered by the sea. It turned into an ocean. It emitted a terrifying power that seemed to be able to swallow everything. Even those who were extremely far away changed. Their faces changed. It was too terrifying. Who exactly was the one who attacked? Their eyes turned red as they looked into the distance. Boom, boom, boom. The sea surged, forming many whirlpools that swallowed Wanjiani. It wanted to seal Wanjiani. Wanjiani snorted. The earth cracked open and crazily absorbed the sea water. The two were in a stalemate again. At the same time, he sneered, "Do you think I don't have water?" The eightfold sword formation also contained the law of water. At this moment, his law of water also surged out and collided with Lin Xian's water swords. At the same time, the law of fire also surged out. The four laws of heaven, earth, water, and fire all appeared. It suppressed Lin Xian's 5 elements sword formation. Lin Xian used the law of earth and the law of gold to block it. The sword chi of the two laws clashed again. At the same time, the law of wood covered the sky and covered the earth. The 5 elements combined and suppressed the other party again. Wanjiani's face was cold. He shouted angrily. Between heaven and earth, tens of thousands of thunderbolts exploded. The terrifying power swept through everything. The law of wood was directly suppressed. Kid, it's useless. Your wood sword chi can't block my lightning sword. As expected, the laws formed by the wood sword chi were continuously shattered. Your 5-element sword formation only has 5 types of laws, while my 8-fold sword formation has 8 types of laws. What do you have to fight with me? Wanjiani roared. Another terrifying storm blew. The 6th law appeared and completely suppressed the 5-element sword formation. Chapter 42-47. A terrifying storm tore through the surroundings, causing the sky to crumble and the earth to crack. Everyone was shocked. The 8-fold sword formation was too powerful. It was Wanjiani's most terrifying technique. At this moment, Wanjiani's sword technique and laws were all integrated into the formation. This sword maniac was going to lose this time. Yes, he should be proud to be able to contend with Wanjiani for such a long time. He was still a small saint now. If he grew into a saint venerable, he might be able to defeat Wanjiani. Discussions sounded one after another. Of course, there were also people who sneered. Do you think he can still leave alive? Today is the day he dies. Lin Xian was indeed suppressed, but he was not afraid. He also laughed. Do you think you're the only one who has wind and thunder? Unfortunately, I also have 2 types of laws. As expected, the laws of wind and thunder erupted beside him at the same time. Once again, he blocked the 6 laws of the other party. At this moment, the 2 sword chis collided once again. The vast power caused the void to collapse continuously, and many large cracks appeared. The entire world began to shake violently. Retreat quickly. Lu Xuanxin, Yu Ruo, and the others also quickly retreated. Useless brat, my 6 types of laws are independent of each other. The power of the 8-fold sword formation is endless, and you only have the 5 elemental laws. The laws of wind and thunder can't be integrated into your sword technique at all. Wanjiani sneered. He unleashed his power again, wanting to turn the whole world upside down. The power emitted a primordial aura. Yu Ruo and Lu Yuan were also a little worried because Wanjiani was right. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Who told you that I still have the 5 elemental sword formation? My current formation is called the 7 slaughter sword formation. Feel the power of my sword technique. Lin Xian let out a roar as the 7 types of laws surged continuously, erupting with boundless might. Heaven and earth were split open, and there was a powerful force that seemed to have crossed time and space. At this moment, the 7 laws were connected, and each of them had an extremely strong killing power. They were as dazzling as divine swords. No way, this kid's formation is even stronger. Everyone exclaimed. Wan Jianyi was also pushed back and spat out a mouthful of blood. He gritted his teeth and roared. So what if it's the 7 slaughter formation? 8-fold sword formation. Rise for me. The last 2 laws also erupted, the law of mountain and the law of lake. Between heaven and earth, tens of thousands of mountains surrounded the land. The ground had turned into a swamp, which was incomparably strange. At this moment, the 8 laws revolved around each other, tearing everything apart and completely enveloping the 7 annihilation sword formation once again. The battle between the two was extremely shocking. Lu Xuanxin was extremely nervous. He could not tell how the battle was going. From afar, Lu Yuan asked, "What do you think?" Yu Rua's eyes were black and white. They bloomed with an extremely strange light. She said with a frown, "Not good. The 8-fold sword formation was really terrifying. The 8 types of laws fused together and actually gave birth to the aura of chaos." What? Lu Yan's expression changed when he heard that. The aura of chaos? How was that possible? Was this Wan Jianyi able to merge the 8 sword arts to such an extent? It was too unbelievable. As expected, the 8 types of laws revolved around each other. A chaotic sword beam was directly activated by the 7-kill sword array and slashed at Lin Xian. With a clang, Lin Xian was sent flying. A sword wound appeared on his body as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Not good. The spectators also exclaimed in surprise. What was that? Some of them were shocked. The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were also shocked. They cheered happily. The chaotic sword beam was actually condensed into a chaotic sword beam. It was really unbelievable. They did not expect Wan Jianyi's strength to be so powerful. The spectators were even more shocked when they heard that. Chaos was the aura of the origin of heaven and earth. It was really shocking that this guy could actually manifest it. The people from Wushuang City had ugly expressions. Not good. The sword maniac is in danger. Wushuang's Sage King also frowned. Little junior brother, how are you going to block it? Lin Xian felt the change in his opponent's sword energy. His eyes also lit up. This aura was not the aura of the 8 types of laws. It was the aura of the fusion of laws. Kid, are you shocked? Let me tell you, this is a chaotic sword beam. You can't block it at all. Next, I'll let you know what despair is. Chaotic sword beam? Lin Xian took a deep breath. It was indeed very powerful. Was his opponent already able to use such sword energy? At the same time, the battle attracted the attention of the experts from all over the world. They were originally scattered, but now they were all gathered together. When they saw the chaotic sword beam, they were all stunned. This Wan Jianyi was too powerful. Some of the experts from Wushuang City frowned. Chao Tianqing's eyes also lit up. On the other side, Gu Feng stood in the void, bobbing up and down. He was indeed a peerless enemy. He muttered to himself. Qin Xiener, Guan Songhai, and the rest also frowned. It was obvious that Wan Jianyi's strength was beyond everyone's expectations. Could it be that this guy had a temporary breakthrough and fused the chaotic sword beam? This sword maniac was finished. Discussions were heard all around. None of them believed that Lin Xian would be able to withstand the attack. Brother Xian. Murong Qingqing also came. She was watching from afar, and her heart was also in her mouth. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Chaotic sword energy? It seemed that he could only show his true strength. To be honest, he wanted to hide some of his strength. But Wan Jianyi's strength made it impossible for him to hide. Since that was the case, then let's fight it out. What? Do you still want to fight me? Wan Jianyi shook his head. You are not my opponent at all. You can't block my chaotic sword beam. Wan Jianyi pushed the 8-fold sword formation and charged over. Yu Ruo and Lu Yuan frowned when they saw this scene. Should they make a move? After all, the other party had temporarily joined their Wushuang City's camp. They would not leave him in the lurch. The two of them took a deep breath and prepared to make a move. However, Lin Xian waved his hand. Around the original 7 laws, another law appeared. A law that was as bright as a ray of light illuminated the 9 heavens like the sun. As soon as it appeared, it lit up the entire sky. Countless people were shocked. This kid actually had a law. The 8th law had appeared. But it was still not enough. If it was just 8 laws, it would not be able to block the eightfold sword formation. After all, the other party had fused 8 laws to form the chaotic sword beam. Sure enough, Wan Jinni was also stunned. Do you still have a trump card? But you can't do anything to me. He rushed over even faster. Lin Xian, on the other hand, continued to wave his hand. After the 8th law, the 9th law appeared. It was a pitch-black law. As soon as it appeared, everyone felt their bodies shaking and their blood solidifying. It was as if their lives were about to be taken away. The 9th law had appeared. Moreover, it was an extremely terrifying cold law. This guy had actually mastered 9 laws. Everyone was shocked. Who exactly was this sword maniac? It was too terrifying. Chapter 42-48. Yu Ruo and Lu Yuan were also stunned. They originally thought that Lin Xian had lost, but now it seemed that it was not necessarily the case. Therefore, the two of them did not make a move. Chao Tianxing's eyes lit up. Is he going to fight with all his might? He whispered. Murong Qingcheng was also nervous. It seemed that Lin Xian did not intend to hold back at all. After the solar and death laws appeared, Lin Xian did not stop. Instead, he let the 2 laws fuse. They formed a Tai Chi diagram. What's that? Seeing this scene, many people exclaimed, and some of their pupils constricted. How is that possible? Yin-yang fish. Could it be the law of yin and yang? This guy actually knows a type of origin source law. Everyone went crazy. How is that possible? Wan Jinni also stopped, looking extremely shocked. 5-element sword formation and the law of yin and yang? How is that possible? Could it be that you're that person? Are you not dead? He was really too shocked. The more the other party used, the more he felt that the other party was that person. What's going on? Could it be that this sword maniac has some other identity? Some people discussed animatedly. However, some people's expressions became extremely ugly. They thought of someone who should not exist. Could it be you? You're not dead? Wan Jinni shouted coldly. Lin Xian sneered and did not answer. Instead, he used the 9 laws to the extreme. 9 tribulations. The 9 laws descended from the sky like 9 heavenly tribulations, attacking the eightfold sword formation. The 2 sides once again engaged in a fierce battle. The eightfold sword formation was suppressed. Wan Jinni was furious and quickly shot out a chaotic sword light. Lin Xian also shot out a yin-yang sword light. The 2 were like 2 divine swords that could devour the sky and split the earth. He blocked it. This kid really blocked it. When the spectators saw it, they could not believe it. That was a chaotic sword chi. No one would be able to block it. They did not expect the other party to know the yin-yang sword chi. Exclamations sounded one after another. However, some people's expressions became extremely ugly. For example, Sage King Skysoar, Sage King Desolate Heaven, and Sage King Silver Corpse's eyes shone with a shocking light. Sage King Silver Corpse's face was filled with disbelief. How is that possible? Was it that guy? But that guy had already been killed by him. He was still not sure. Damn it. Wan Jinni was roaring nonstop as well. He had not expected that even after unleashing his chaotic sword light, he would still be unable to do anything to his opponent. Chaos destroyed the heavens. He raised his head and roared. The eightfold sword formation quickly fused together, and the chaotic sword light became even more terrifying. So what if you have the 9 tribulations? I can still kill you. Is that so? Lin Xian unleashed the power of the 9 laws even more terrifyingly, blocking the chaotic sword light. He said at the same time, "Do you think that your eightfold sword formation is really that powerful? Today, I'll break it for you." At this point, another precept rushed out from his body. That was the law of the sword, which was abnormally terrifying. As soon as it appeared, it was accompanied by a loud and clear dragon roar. It was as if a divine dragon had been resurrected. The 10th law had appeared. Countless people were stunned. A single person had actually grasped 10 types of laws. How heaven-defying was that? The addition of the 10 bells law caused the sword formation to change once again. Lin Xin roared in all directions. It was like a peerless sword. Absolute kill of all sides. Boom, boom. The power of the great dragon sword spirit also erupted at this moment. The dragon-shaped sword shadow directly slashed out, colliding with the chaotic sword chi. Clang! The eightfold sword formation finally couldn't hold on any longer, and the chaotic sword light was sent flying. The eightfold sword formation shattered, and Wang Jian's body split open. Impossible, right? Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. The people of the Wang Jian pavilion roared crazily. The eightfold sword formation was defeated. Damn it! At the same time, some people exclaimed, "It was that kid who didn't die." The three sage kings suddenly stood up, and an extremely terrifying light burst out from their eyes. The people of Peerless City were also stunned. Lin Xian was still alive, and his strength had become so terrifying. What? Lin Xian? Are you talking about that Lin Wudi? Heavens, wasn't he killed by the Yellow Spring Dao diagram of the Silver Corpse Sage King? How could he still be alive? At this moment, everyone went crazy when they heard this news. Legend had it that Lin Xian was hit by the Sage King. If a minor saint was hit by the Sage King's attack, his soul would definitely be destroyed. But now, Lin Xian had come out alive. What was going on? How could it be? The soaring Sage King frowned and looked at the Silver Corpse Sage King. The Silver Corpse Sage King frowned. I don't know either. I did hit him. Could it be that he still has a trump card? It's actually you? You didn't die? Countless exclamations could be heard from within the cracked space. For example, the people of the Yellow Spring Palace, the Great Desolate Mansion, and even Gu Feng's pupils shrank. Their faces darkened. Lin Xian looked around and said coldly, "That's right. It's me. I'm still alive. Why? You didn't expect it, right?" At the same time, his gaze pierced through the void, as if he could see through everything. Silver Corpse Sage King, you attacked me without caring about anything back then. Today, I'll make the Yellow Spring Palace pay a painful price. And you, the Demon City and the Great Desolate Mansion, I won't let any of you off. Lin Xian's voice was filled with strong killing intent. Everyone's scalp went numb. Such a genius had survived in the hands of the Sage King and had returned. What would happen next? No one dared to imagine. At the same time, some of them were enlightened. No wonder he was so against the Demon City and the other saint cities. So this was the reason. Damn it. The people of the Yellow Spring Palace gritted their teeth. The other saint cities were also furious. On the other hand, the people of Wushuang City were extremely excited. The corner of Wushuang Sage King's mouth curled into a smile. Finally, he revealed his identity. Since that was the case, there was no need to hold back. It was time for the final battle. Lu Xuanxin was completely stunned. She had always thought that her greatest opponent in the future would be senior brother Wang Jian. However, she did not expect that her godlike senior brother would lose. He even lost to a minor saint. Was this man the legendary Invincible Lin? She looked ahead, her heart trembling. Lin Xian looked at her and said coldly, "Wang Jian has lost. Are you going to submit to me?" Lu Xuanxin's face turned pale. Submit to him? She was unwilling. However, the scene in front of her was too shocking. However, at this moment, a roar was heard. The shattered blood mist turned into Wang Jian's figure again. His face was pale. It was obvious that he was severely injured. However, he did not die. His entire body seemed to have merged with the eightfold sword formation. There was also a chaotic aura surrounding him. "It's really you. You're still alive." Wang Jian roared crazily. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. "You're still alive?" As he spoke, he attacked again. The eightfold sword formation attacked crazily. Wang Jian kept vomiting blood. Damn it. Stop it. The people of the Wang Jian pavilion rushed over, wanting to stop them. However, at this moment, Yu Ruo and Lu Yuan also moved. "Why? Do you want to fight as a team? Do you think we're air?" Lu Yuan snorted. Thousands of mountains, flying away. Thousands of illusions of mountains appeared. Countless light blades began to scatter in the void. Thousands of paths, all traces of people disappeared. Another terrifying roar was heard. Then, A destructive aura rushed towards the people of the Wanjiani Pavilion. Those people roared crazily and fought back. Many of them vomited blood and were sent flying. Of course, there were also people who rushed out. After all, those who could come here were all experts. Some experts rushed out and attacked the two people. At the same time, there were terrifying figures moving in the distance. Obviously, the Wanjiani Pavilion was not the only sacred city. The other sacred cities had also made their moves. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.